Right. Just about settled here. Just about settled. Wow, there's a lot to talk about. That is for sure. Whoa. I actually get the stream tweeted out this time. Hope you guys all enjoyed that video I put out, the hype video. It's funny, as soon as it gets started, the video is going around now still, obviously. But everyone's like, OMG, they didn't make it. This didn't age well. I'm like, bro, okay. Like, it's for the long term. It's just a fun little thing, but whatever. Let me just get this tweeted out, and then I'm just going to get into everything. And also, keep in mind, guys, everything I'm kind of reading right now is for the first time. I literally just came home from work. I wolfed down a sandwich, and I'm just getting ready to rock and roll. And I just want to say I'm the least bit phased. Emotions are certainly running high right now. Let me get my face on here. Hold on. You know, I realized I didn't put. Hmm. Oh yeah, you can edit your tweets with Twitter Blue. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Boom. It's out there. All right. Oh damn! Everybody's in here right now. Let's go. And we're live. Thank you guys so much for being here. First thing I want to say is emotions are certainly running high. So just take a breath. Remember where you're at for yourself as an individual. Don't do anything rational, right? Of course, I don't give financial advice, but I think everyone should just take a minute and breathe before they make any kind of decision, whether it's a buy or sell or anything. Understand where you're at, and when you know where you're at, then make a decision, right? And I think the decision I know the decision a lot of individuals are going to make, but just speaking general, let me say hello to everyone real quick. Bipolar, what up? Thank you for being here. Thanks for the tip in the beginning about shortening the speed on the slowdown. I didn't want it to be too much, but you're right. I think 30 seconds is too much. Anthony G says, I'm not phased for once, hedged with cover calls, 23 and 24 strikes. Now it's time to take profits, buy calls far out beyond September. This dip will allow me to. This whole price on GME stank of a setup. I'm using CSPs to get back in. Cash secured puts makes sense. But yeah, well, the only good thing I see from the earnings is that GME still is cash flow positive. Other than that, GME needs to talk to its shareholders on what's going on. Um, Rider of the rounded bottom breakouts. I don't know. Honestly, I really like the idea that they just kind of let the numbers speak for themselves. I probably should go over it, and then I'll kind of hit the chat, say hello to everyone real quick. Connor, Wendy, John Jar, Monty, thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. Dope Show's here. What up? All right, I'm going to read through the chat in a little bit, but I do want to go through a few things. And really, thank you guys so much for being here. But yeah, emotions are undoubtedly high right now. And of course, I was excited going in. Of course, I want to come on here and be like, let's fucking go and get fired up. But you got to be a realist, right? And I'm still going to come here. I'm not going to go, oh, I can't stream now because earnings aren't good. Or, oh, you know what, just forget it. Like, I love the people already commenting on my video, like on Twitter and YouTube, like, this didn't age well. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But looking at the main numbers, this is the Business Wire for GameStop. Net sales came in fairly weak, 1.237 billion for the period compared to 1.378 billion for the same quarter of last year. So that's about a $0.1 billion swing or 100 million. So selling and general administrative expenses were 345.7 million or 27.9 million percent of net sales for the period compared to 452.2 million or 32.8% of the sales for the prior year's first quarter. So you really have to look at the percentage. So the percentage of expense that selling and general administrative cost was lower for the period. So overall, they did lower that number. I was guiding or expecting, whatever you want to call it, in my theory, prediction, whatever, for GameStop to hit selling and general administrative costs of 340 million for the quarter. So I was a little bit off there, but a little bit closer than I expected, to be honest. Was that what? Yeah, that's what I had here, and I was I was saying that last video, but I was also assuming that those selling and general administrative costs would have just given them an EPS of 1 cent. That was like my guesstimation. So I was slightly off there, but net loss, and regardless, it's about the long term. And I only made the numbers to just see something to compare to, because I honestly take what analysts say with such like a grain of salt. Like, just look at the past, and at the end of the day, it's such a few amount of analysts. So I just wanted to have like numbers to compare to, and I just think it's a good habit for individuals like everyone out there to get into. Make your own numbers, come up with your own ideas. It just makes you smarter over time. And over time, I feel like more and more I see individuals put out more and more information about GameStop, become more confident to put out information about GameStop because so many people are honestly just getting so much more educated. It's like as GameStop's growing, I feel like a lot of individuals' knowledge on investing is growing. Of course, it's not going to be the same for everybody. It's not a one size fits all, but I just feel like generally in the beginning, it was just all like, fight back, right? Stick it to the man. That was like the common commentary around anybody holding GameStop. Now the common commentary is in depth, like, okay, well, this is the numbers. This is, I mean, there's always going to be like silliness out there, right? Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's a lot more generally educated individuals, or just everyone's come so far since 2020, since 2021. And whereas the painted picture is that it's like, oh, it's all these same people that are just, duh, not paying attention. I don't know anything, and it's garbage. And that's what the Ryan Cohen hit piece was last night on CNBC. I watched it. I wasted an hour of my life. I don't know why. Absolute trash. Look what he did with Bed Bath and Beyond, and now they're gonna probably keep that story going. Now, well, he just walks around and takes over as CEO of GameStop. When keep in mind, right? One of the first things I thought is, what if Matt Furlong is going to Teddy? I mean, tweeting not for long. I don't know. It just seems a little odd, but certainly, anything could happen. We truly don't know what's happening internally. But then my next thought is, well, Ryan Cohen's not going to take any pay as CEO. So that's just a little bit more cost cutting, right? That's not the most major make or break thing, but I'd have to look back at Furlong's contract in terms of the shares vesting. So that will definitely be interesting. And also, if it really was a bad fallout, is he going to sell his shares that he did have? I have to really look into all that, kind of digest that. But those are some like initial thoughts there. And really, thank you guys all for so much for being here right now. I really appreciate it. So net loss was 50 million. In comparison to the same quarter last year, it was 157.9 million. So you do have to keep in mind everything we're seeing in this earnings report in terms of expenses is what I wanted to see, because I wanted to see cuts overall. I'd be extremely concerned if selling and general administrative costs were the same as last year, and our bottom line with a net loss was very dramatic or worse than last year, or even, I should say. Transition costs related to European restructuring efforts were 14.5 million for the period. For the second quarter, the company will continue to incur transition charges. Okay, so they're basically saying with that line, or what I read here, is yeah, about 14.5 million was related to the European restructuring, and we're still going to have costs accounted for in the next quarter that will have to do with the restructuring. So that's a little bit less costs in the future in terms of this 14.5 million and whatever it is for the next quarter. So cash equivalents, and marketable securities were 1.3 billion at the close of the quarter. So free cash flow, I think it was like negative 90 million overall, right? Approximately. We're gonna pull it up here, but also I love reading the articles. I mean, like just clowning on. GameStop's board has removed. I shouldn't even give them the click. CEO and canceled its earnings call. The stock is falling. That's it. There's literally no article. They just make a headline and put it in Yahoo Finance. Comical. But also, like, there's no articles when GameStop launches anything. But look how fast all these articles come out. It's actually insane. Like, the hit piece coming out last night, the other movie getting dropped without any warning, like 2 weeks early. All this different stuff, all these articles. Look at this. Like, I mean, it's like there's no other company, right? Like, everyone can say, like, oh, this is biased or whatever. But there's no other company where anytime there's positive news, there's such a limited amount of like articles written or headlines written, as you saw with that one. It literally wasn't even an article. And then there's no articles on the positive news and all negative, 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 negative so fast. And then play the game tonight, like making it sound like it's this whole like comical thing, right? And people just guessing and messing around. But I really think a lot of individuals are going to choose to buy this dip. I think the biggest big ball thing ever would be for Ryan Cohen to come in and just buy shares. I think you have to wait a few days after an earnings report. I have to look back in it. I forgot the exact thing, but I believe you have to wait a few days after the earnings report before an insider can actually make a purchase. But if he just came in and then bought shares after this, pretty fucking awesome. It would be pretty awesome. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he really has full control of GameStop. And You know what this almost tells me, right? Like I just had this thought right now as I'm thinking about this, speaking about all this out loud. Maybe Matt Furlong is really about to go to Teddy, right? Or have a different. Well, he got canned from GameStop, so maybe there's something else from him, or maybe Ryan Cohen found out something that he was doing for some reason he didn't like it, some fishy connection he made. Who knows, right? And it could be anything. So either he was ousted or it was just on good terms and he got moved elsewhere. So either way, what if Ryan Cohen is just trying to say here, I am like after Bed Bath and Beyond and this article. What's on my keyboard? Sorry. What's in fuck everything that happened with Bed Bath and Beyond? How the article was created. Sorry, the documentary was created. All these negative lights of him painted and him investing in other stocks. I think maybe this is him saying like, I am all in on this. Him, because obviously he's always his actions speak much louder than his words because his words are so limited. Obviously, he doesn't speak much, and I think he's like, you know what? I'm CEO. Fuck it, we're not even gonna do a conference call. I don't talk. That's not my thing. So if I'm CEO and usually the CEO does the conference call, then we're just not gonna do one. And I think it's almost them doubling down on don't believe us, just watch, and Ryan Cohen doubling down on I'm gonna make this happen. And I really believe in Ryan Cohen, and I understand some people might not like that, but how this saga's gone, I'm really okay with this. But I will say I want to leave that open ended. I don't. There's a lot of details we don't know. There's a lot of moving parts right now because keep in mind this is still an expanding, growing company, and a transformation as a whole just takes a long time. So it's not going to be quick. Like it's really as simple as that. Like look, oh GameStop compressions sinks. Who knows what it's saying? Like some garbage. But yeah, not even an article here. I did pull up the actual report, but really, guys, thank you so much for being here. Let me check the chat real quick, actually, before I get into all this. But I took a quick glance, like right before I got on, but I really haven't read it yet. Yeah, we'll go to the balance sheet first. Let's go. Perhaps we'll do next week at the annual shareholder meeting. Actually, talk more. We'll see, Anthony. Honestly, there might, yeah, that also could be a part of it. I completely forgot about that. I've been so caught up in the earnings hype and just everything going on today. I had such a bit. It's always a busy day for me at work during earnings. I swear, I'm taking a half day next earnings report because this is important to me, and I have enough interest through my YouTube channel and interest through my capital that's invested that it's worth my time, in my opinion, to take a half a day. And I don't go on like a million vacations. I can afford to do it. So I'll be ready next time, guys. Let me say that. Q1 is the hardest for GameStop, always has been. Looking forward to the future with Cohen. Exactly, Connor Nee, you're exactly right. Q1 is one of the most difficult quarters, and I think it's just because of all the love and the passion and the price starting to go up running in. It just kind of got everybody almost forgetting that it's like one of the most difficult quarters for GameStop. So, in my opinion, this really isn't a bad quarter. I'm not going to say like, oh, this is good, this is great. Like, obviously, I literally made an expectation of 1 cent per share, but now I almost feel like I was a little bit too excited. I maybe a little bit caught in the hype, but at the same time, I don't think it was an unreasonable prediction in any which way. So, I'll definitely come up with predictions for next quarter as this one goes on. We'll try to analyze some things. But yeah, let me keep hitting the chat here. But you're absolutely right, Connor. It's the most difficult one. We're not executive manager for long. Oh, okay, Dope Show, that could be it. And John, I think you're right. I think it is scare tactics. The way the price ran, and then sudden drop, and right after CNBC says it's over, Melissa Lee. I'll never see something like that again. I bought Zelda today from GameStop selecting same day delivery. It came in 3 hours. That's fucking awesome, Anthony. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Also, we get to keep more cash correct because of Furlong firing. You're right, Connor. I have to look at the exact details of Matt Furlong's offer letter, but I believe only some of his shares vested, and he did have a little bit of a base salary, so we'd have to look at that. So yeah, and I don't think Ryan Cohen's going to take pay, knowing him. So, Sub G, Raymond, thank you for being here. Tom, thank you for being here. Let's go. I am dreaming of my Teddy. Nice. G America, yo, what up? Thank you for being here. Like the stream, Anthony. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, everybody drop a like. That'll be much appreciated. I'm chilling, but what I will say It was wild. I was up immediately, 4,500, then just sold off. Not going anywhere though. Low, if you made money in a trade, I'm absolutely happy for you. But yeah, honestly, for me, long-term investor, just share kind of guy right now. It's oh, hold on, getting too ahead. I think change can be good for GME. They need to go harder on e-commerce. I think you're right, Bipolar Bear, but also I think they're definitely really focused on everything they're doing with player, but they should never take their foot off the gas in terms of e-commerce. It's a pun on the last name of the prior CEO, but also when a chairperson takes over the CEO's role, it's often for a short while to steady a short while to steady the ship before a new one is named. Yeah, very well could be Anthony. That's also certainly a possibility. I'm sure Ryan Cohen knows a lot of impressive people, right? When you get to a certain status, I feel like you just naturally have certain connections. Of course, I can't know for sure, but time will tell. But I think regardless, whether it's him or somebody he deems qualified, I think the company's in good shape. Yeah, he said he didn't have time to bother. Oh, two ahead again. Oh, no, now I'm getting lost. Everything's moving. Did GME kick out the Florida man? Oh, stream BNGI. You're talking about Nathan from Florida? That's my boy. Nah, he's gonna come back soon. He's a GME guy. But I'm not, and then unless you mean something else, I'm not too sure. How do you interpret Ryan Cohen's not for long tweet? Honestly, I'm not too sure yet. That's what I'll leave it as. I'll say it's open ended. I feel like it's not for long. Like either he's there not for long, like fuck you, get out, you did us dirty, or it's like not for long is he gone. He's actually about to become the CEO of Teddy, and that's our next partner, or something like that, right? Where maybe he's not gone for long. He's about to take on a new role in Teddy. I don't know, but that's an out there theory. I don't have anything pointing to that, but the patents I saw were recently updated in regards to GME Entertainment being attached to it, and at the same time, GameStop players coming out. Powered. What was the Ryan Cohen tweet about? Basically, G America. I think he had like a tweet in reference to 4th of July, and all the patents are set to become like active on 4th of July, I believe. I have to look at all that. I really been trying to keep up with everything. There's just so much going on lately. But if that's the case, it's like, could that be it? Maybe. Little tinfoil hat for you. It's a putt. Oh yeah. Another good thing is now Ryan Cohen's hands will be directly involved. He doesn't like losing. That's absolutely right, Round Bottom's absolutely right. I think he's a hardworking guy, and if he sees maybe like this is what we need to be profitable, I could see him being the type of guy to be like, fuck it, I'll just do this myself. It kind of reminds me, because I'm a hockey guy, when the general manager just decide, like when they fire the coach mid-season and they're in between, they decide, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to take over behind the bench until I get a new guy. That's what this kind of reminds me of. And then it's a little bit different than hockey, obviously. So maybe Ryan Cohen just wants to be that guy and show everybody I'm all in on GameStop, and he wants to be that guy in the sense like the person to make all the decisions and make sure everything goes exactly how he wants it. Because if you think about it, everyone was truly reporting to Matt Furlong at the end of the day. Of course, Ryan Cohen's steering the ship, absolutely, but everybody's reporting within the actual company to Matt Furlong because he's chief executive officer. Generally speaking, of course. We don't know exactly because I'm not within. But yeah, he didn't have time to manage another business. He does now. That's absolutely right. Yeah, I think, the more you guys are saying this, it does make sense for him to bring in someone else eventually, just because it's another like head of knowledge there and another person who's likely experienced in the field and would have something to bring to the table. Otherwise, obviously, you just want to bring him there. I take my L's with my guess about earnings for Q1. I feel Ryan Cohen's tweet was in reference to their loss, not necessarily a veiled insult at Matt Furlong. It's possible, Christopher Card. It's certainly possible. Honestly, I'm not too sure. It's really hard to know, and I feel like, yeah, shout out to you for just like you said, hold the L. And it's like I'll hold the L too. I thought it was going to be an EPS of 1 cent a share. They were going to make a net profit of about $3 million, and I was wrong. That's fine. I also thought they're going to make way more on the top line. But it is what it is, right? It's all learning experience and the long-term game. So like I said also in like one of the previous streams, I'm not gonna like lose sleep no matter what happens the next stream. I love all the shills that come out of nowhere and just nonsense people who don't have any vested interest that are always like, ooh, you're still in that GameStop thing. Oh, you see that? Ah, another bad quarter. And I'm like, I actually laugh, right? Like, it used to bother me when I was like younger, especially first like involved in stocks or first got involved in GameStop specifically. Of course, it bothered me a little bit. I'm like, you don't even understand what you're talking about, or you don't even have vested interest. Why do you care? But now I'm like where I'm going with this is like I'm at a point where I just look at them like I like feel you just are naive. Like I know what I have and I'm okay with it, and you're just saying this upon like seeing a headline. You're just repeating whatever just because you know how I feel about the company type of thing. I don't know. I just find it comical, and that's what's going on online. And that's why, like, my favorite thing to do is when I get comments like, "Ooh, this didn't age well." I just blow them kisses. Like, I just say, "Oh, thanks, honey," and then I like blow them a couple kisses with emojis, and just move on from there. You know. Yo, for real, guys, I've never had a chat like this, so I apologize. I'm having a hard time keeping up. But damn, I liked Furlong a bit. Me too, Freshmaker. Thank you for being here. You know right about the tweet. We will never know. Sure, Anthony, we'll find out. What up, Abe? Thank you for being here. Ryan Cohen, yes, sir, new CEO. I think you should wait until they drop it to 15 again to buy shares and go hard. Bipolar, if that happens, I think a lot of people are going to go hard, honestly. That'd be a 52-week low, the lowest it's been since January 2021, so we'll see. He resigned. Don't worry, Furlong probably got a fat severance. It's possible, Sir Moist. Thank you for being here. He resigned. If he resigned, Abe, that makes me think maybe Teddy. I don't know. Maybe tinfoil hat. Business revenues weren't growing quickly enough. It's also possible that, yeah, bipolar, that it's simply a performance issue. Ousted. Yep, that's right, stream. If Furlong left on good terms, then they wouldn't have canceled the earnings call at Tetron Invest. Yeah, that actually seems like a very valid point, Rounded. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, it does seem like that. Evening Tetron, Jackson's, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Ryan Cohen obviously has a vision. I think so. Goodbye, Florida Crazy. We win. Negative Banana, thank you for being here. Is this earnings call ever going to start? Jay, there is no earnings call, unfortunately. Yep, we're down 20%, but Anthony, it's about the long game, man. It really is about the long game. And that's Anthony Lang. Thank you for being here. Oh, Mr. Furlong from Florida. You got me now, stream. Thank you. Tom, he's going to go shopping. Go shopping at GameStop. This is the way. So many people keep sharing delusion tomorrow. Yeah, honestly, there's always going to be, negative activity and just people of a negative opinion and sharing delusion or whatever you want to call it, right? But it is what it is. GameStop is a great foundation to build upon from its balance sheet perspective. Just need the right leader to execute. I think you're right, Bipolar. I think you're right because at the end of the day, it really is about execution. And they just have to go step by step. And as long as they're managing their operating costs and they can at least continue to break even, right? During a time where the economy as a whole is just generally struggling, they're going to be able to use their balance sheet to benefit themselves over time. So that's really what it's about, just step by step. And I think you're right. And I think, again, we have to remind ourselves Q1 was a tough quarter. But hold on. I got to shout out someone real quick. The editor from the last video. Say hello.
Yeah, it was a good live stream.
Yeah, what do you have to say to chat?
Gotta say, GME to the moon.
He knows what's up, except he doesn't even know what the earnings report is. This guy doesn't pay attention. But not real. This guy's the biggest of homies. Always editing my streams, helping me out. Or not editing my streams, I'm sorry. Editing videos like the one I posted. He's really nice with it. That's my boy Zach. He's going to make a social soon. Whatever he gets involved in, I'll let you guys know so you guys can drop him a follow. But here we go. Back to the chat here. Florida fascists want GME to die. Share dilution for what? Oh no, John, my bad. I didn't mean to say or imply share dilution. I really don't expect that to happen. GME going to 10? Liquid swords? I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about that. I mean, if it does, I think a tremendous amount of people will buy, and I think we would need a tremendously bad event for that to be the case. But we'll see. We'll see, right? Think the drop was part of Furlong's severance. IBM, that's possible. That is possible if he just sold, like if a filing comes out for that. But I'm not too sure. It's a certainly a possibility. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about that yet. You are the first I heard of dilution. No, John, there's no dilution for GameStop stock right now. My bad. Cheaper shares to buy. This is correct, Connor. If it goes down, I don't think they canceled the earnings call last minute. It was in the docs. It would be canceled. I think they plan to not have it. Brokers said earnings was going to be like a week ago. I wish I was Sanjeet. Thank you for being here. And I think you're right, actually, or it's certainly a possibility. And I keep saying that now. It's kind of like a broken record because it says somewhere here, like under, I think it's in, no, it's the newsroom. I think it's in the actual thing. The company will not be holding a conference call today. Stockholders can review the company's Form 10Q. They basically said, nope, we're not doing that. Very interesting. I'm holding and chilling from Italy. Paolo, thank you for being here. Have you been to a Milan store? If you have, definitely let me know what you thought of it, some of the experiences you had, or whatever, because that seems awesome. But thank you for being here, out here from Italy. I'm actually Italian, by the way, a little bit. Um, Italian Croatian. I can't wait to buy tomorrow. Props for your positivity, Tetron. Billy, thank you for being here. I'm just trying to keep it real, right? And honestly, I just felt good today, and I just felt good throughout the whole day because obviously earnings came up, and then the numbers came, and I saw them, but it was actually like 420-ish, 4 like 25, where I actually saw the numbers. And at that point, I was so focused on finishing my work for the day, like at my job, so I wasn't even like looking at the numbers yet. And I was caught instantly. I obviously wanted to look right away, but I didn't have a chance to look at my phone till then. And at that point, I saw everything. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to change like my vibe right now. Like I should bring this into tonight. I try to come home right away, get ready. Here we are. But bravo on the video, chef's kiss. Abem, thank you for being here. And yeah, dude, I'll tell Zach you said it. Dude, he's the biggest of homies. They want to scare us, retailers. I think you're right, Paulo. I honestly think you're right. It's just, I don't know. It's just the ongoing saga, right? It's like every time there's a moment like this, whether it's earnings or a certain date or certain thing being released. I feel like mostly it's been earnings though. Afterwards, it's always like, well, wait, it's like a day or two, then it's like, wait a minute, well, this is just back to like kind of how things been. Like it's an ongoing battle, the longs and the shorts in this game. Like that's truly what it is. And oh yeah, the DRS number, I didn't even say that yet. Of course, that's a little bit disappointing, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to see that number grow more. But at the end of the day, if the company succeeds, this DRS count is so substantial already, even just being at what it is now, in my opinion. Because if you think about the fact getting to the S&P, they do need shares to trade over. What if we get to the point the stock's so illiquid it can't get to the S&P? I think the best case scenario is individuals continue to DRS and we get into the S&P in terms of GameStop right as it gets to that point where it would be near not enough liquidity. I mean, I don't know. But at the same time, the more the company does, the more shares they're going to trade. But as many more individuals DRS shares, just more shares trading will just lead to more dramatic price action because it's just illiquid. There's just regularly less shares out there. And don't forget about that suspicious halt that wasn't a halt. That's also a thing. So it's just a crazy saga. And that's why I love talking about it. It's like there's always something to talk about with GameStop. There's always something. And if you're really paying attention to every little thing, and like I try to, right? That's why I'm doing this YouTube. But it's hard. It's hard to keep up sometimes. But my favorite part about GameStop and just market structure and the blockchain partners they have, the patents with Anna, Teddy, all these different things. There's always something to like uncover, right? Something to find. And that's why I like talking about GameStop and other things related to GameStop. If GME goes to 10, I will load the boat. I think you're right, Connor. Me too. Let's go. 69 people being here. Lucky number. Thank you very much. They hold guys. This is like AMC, but no Adam Aaron here. It's a good way to, I guess it's kind of a good way to put it, Paulo. Yeah, honestly, has similar hype, but no Adam Aaron and no trash business fundamentals and no popcorn in stores to save the business. Geronimo, thank you for being here. Appreciate the rocket emoji. Just got here. Ken, appreciate you being here. I'm Zen, watching how this plays out. Ben, thank you for being here. That's how it goes, man, right? That's how it goes. It's like there's always going to be volatility. Like, let's see what the prices are right now. And I really try not even to pull up the chart of the stock because I feel like just watching the constant, right? It stresses you out. Like whether like for me, I feel like unsubconsciously, right? Even if consciously, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this bother me. It literally doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't even matter what this is doing minute to minute. It makes no sense as a long-term investor. So I literally just don't even want it on the screen. That's me personally, because I feel like even unsubconsciously, it just gets my brain like, because it's like constantly. And that's also the world we live in, right? There's a million distractions. There's always something going on everywhere. Like I really try and just put my phone down sometimes and just sit for like 5 minutes, and like it's actually crazy with just doing that. And I'm not saying like I do that all the time. Like I'm this healthy like monk. Like I'm like always zen and not in technology and all that. Like obviously I'm very in technology and everything like that. My point is like even just taking 5 minutes and like it's just like your head can really just clear so much. So I feel like the ticker moving and the price bars constantly moving is the same kind of. It's just like I don't know. It's just like everything else with distraction. I don't know if that was a great explanation, but just really like about knowing yourself. But if you're going to trade the stock, evidently you're going to look at charts and bar charts. You're not just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm not looking at it because Tetron said that. So know yourself as an individual. Damn, my bad, guys. So dehydrated today. I'm like chugging water on the mic. But yeah, it's always a busy day at work when it's GameStop earnings. I'm really taking a half day next time, guys. For real, for real. But let's look at the balance sheet. Let's actually get into the nooks and crannies here, if that's the expression or whatever, the details. So cash and cash equivalents. This number right here next to it is last year, the same quarter of last year, 1 year ago. Whereas these numbers all the way to the right are the previous quarter. So Q4 of 2022, and then this is Q1 of 2022. So we'll kind of look at both. Cash generally pretty steady. The difference though is the marketable securities, and we're pretty much at the same amount of marketable securities. So what that tells me is the company is comfortable with about 1/5 of their total cash equivalents, and marketable securities combined being in marketable securities. The other 80% is in cash and cash equivalents, so highly liquid stuff. Marketable securities are very liquid generally because they're current assets, but cash equivalents are more liquid. So because marketable securities, you wouldn't want to sell them to maturity. You want them to just mature. And I'll show you that in the cash flow statement as well, where that took place a little bit. So inventories compared to last year, it's down a little bit, but it's up a little bit from the previous quarter. Prepaid expenses is down from the previous quarter, so obviously that would be a little bit nicer to see, but it is what it is. But it's relatively similar to the most previous quarter. So they were prepaying a lot of expenses in 2022, but where you kind of see that difference, because this bottom line is all generally kind of the same of current assets, is 273.6 right here, but then you see the difference in the marketable securities. And what it kind of seems like is the company's at a point where it seems like it's just about steadying the ship, right? And kind of what you guys were saying in the chat about, or a couple different people, about Ryan Cohen taking over as CEO to kind of smoothen things out, really complete the turnaround, and then give the role to somebody when the company's in growth mode, right? Potentially. So seeing current assets kind of the same, the cash hasn't moved too much now, they can't quite turn a profit yet, but it's not like they lost a dramatic amount of money this quarter or something like that. You have to think they're earning a decent amount on their marketable securities. It's going to make up for their loss a little bit. But obviously, you can't just solely rely on that. You have to rely on the business. But as they continue to get into Web3 and whatever GameStop player exactly becomes, all these different things and potential acquisitions, other potential ways they'll expand their business, all these different things will start to drive growth. But so as long as they can just keep the ship steady right now, keep these numbers flat, even as they're like adjusting and adapting, then they can start to drive forwards. And Morantz has done a great job of explaining this, and shout out to him, biggest to homies as well. He always said, or not always said, but I've heard him say a couple times, it's like the hockey stick type of pattern where the company, it's not much is happening for a while, they're kind of just going along, and then the growth starts, and then it's big growth, right? Up, like a hockey stick type of chart. And when I start to see flat numbers like this, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. That really makes a lot of sense, that analogy. So operating lease right of use assets, so that went up a little bit. So that's their leases as a whole. That might be a little bit of a factor of interest rates. But I do expect them to continue to adjust their leases a little bit just because of the idea of them opening more stores like Milan, Italy. So we'll definitely have to see about that. Pretty consistent with the deferred income taxes. Non-current assets, pretty much the same as last quarter, up a little bit since the last. I'm curious what their specific non-current assets would be. Accounts payable, fairly consistent previous quarter, up from last year. Current portion of their long-term debt, that's how much of their debt they're actually paying off in this period. So that's pretty consistent, and their long-term debt is so limited as it is, or I'm sorry, current portion of the long-term debt. That's I already said that. Sorry. Long-term debt is fairly consistent, but it's just slowly going down because the 10.9, that's for full year combined. So soon they're going to have that loan paid off, but they don't even have to worry about that. They're paying it off as slow as they can because they'll literally earn more on a cash equivalent, such as a money market fund, than what they're paying on their debt, and their debt's so limited. So as long as they don't ever take on debt, they can really just keep grinding in their transformation. Obviously, I want it to be sooner than later, but as long as you're not taking on debt, that is the massive difference maker right now, especially because of a high interest rate environment. So operating lease liabilities, see that went up. Other long-term liabilities, again, pretty consistent. And part of their restructuring, obviously, has gotten rid of, because this is last year, right? Yep, same quarter last year. It's gone down significantly. So part of their restructuring evidently was getting rid of some of the long-term liabilities, but not exactly sure what restructuring is that exact deduction, if that makes sense. So overall, retained loss, 270, or negative 270 rather. And then total stockholders' equity, 1.2 billion. Fairly consistent from last quarter, and then fairly consistent, a little bit down from the same quarter of last year. But yeah, so net sales, and damn, you guys are all awesome for being here, for real, for real. Or do I want to go to cash flows? No, we'll do net sales first. So net sales, cost of sales was 949 million. So cost of sales, there was about a $1,300 swing. So it's about 1.3 million, or sorry, $130 million swing on the cost of sales. But then there's also about 150 million swing on the net sales. So not the greatest there. Of course, top line, I would say, is overall the biggest disappointment in this earnings report. But again, you have to keep in mind it is generally GameStop's weakest quarter. But then you can say, well, this is compared to the same quarter last year. But the economy was in an entirely different shape in Q1 of 2022 than it is in 2023. And you can simply see that from looking at just overall charts of American savings being down and American credit card debt being significantly up. And that's just America. It's a worldwide phenomenon right now of struggling economies, unfortunately. And then selling and general administrative costs significantly down, right? What did Morant say? $100 million swing. What do we have here? Crazy. What a guy. What a guy. Morant's rants. Biggest of homies. So yeah, $100 million swing. Crazy. That's really the biggest thing to me and what I really, really wanted to see. And if we didn't have a significant swing here, I think it would be fairly concerning. Or if it was just like a slight move down, it's like, well, all that cost cutting only did that. But nice. We'll see what Ryan Cohen does from here in terms of cost cutting, because I feel like he's really gonna step in and be like, we are saving every penny. Because if you think about making logistics of Chewy.com work, if he can make that work, I really feel like he can make GameStop work, especially with the pipeline or underground, the pipe work, whatever you want to call it, right? Or the foundation for getting into Web3 gaming that he's already now taking over with as CEO. It's not like he has to bring all that in. I mean, not saying he hasn't been a huge part of that, but I'm just saying he's not running the company at a point where that's a factor of having to start that from the ground up. But overall, the net loss, 50.5 million, right? And that comes out to 17-cent loss. The expectation by analysts was negative 12 cents. The Tetron expectation was positive 1 cent. So we missed. It is what it is, but try again next quarter. But all right, let's move down to the cash flow statement, and I'm going to hit the chat again. So Cash flows from operating activities. Take the number we got from the income statement, right? Net loss 50.5 comes down here, and this is the same from last quarter. Same type of thing happens. The numbers just come down, right? Nice and simple. Then if you go to depreciation and amortization, about the same. Stock-based compensation went down a little bit. Most of the stock-based compensation is initially, and then it kind of is vested over time, and it just dies off a little bit, and we'll see how it's adjusted. Everything now just happened with former CEO Matt Furlong. No gain on sale of digital assets. Digital asset impairments this quarter. Loss on disposal of property and equipment, very minor. So receivables, about consistent to last year. Merchandise inventories, there's less, so that's down about 83 million. So that's where you really see a difference here. But then prepaid expenses and other net assets, they prepaid less than last quarter as well. Prepaid income taxes, not prepaying any. They're pre-owing some. That's what that kind of seems like. Unless I'm probably misreading that in a way. And keep in mind, guys, I'm no genius, and especially just looking at these numbers the first time, I'm definitely maybe going to slightly misspeak in some areas, so forgive me. I'm not perfect, right? But definitely let me know in the chat. Like, I'm always trying to get better. So, operating lease right of use assets and lease liabilities. So overall, net cash flows used in operating activities: $100 million loss versus $300 million last year. So that's a $200 million swing in terms of the operating activities. Then if you move to the investing activities, it was positive last year from proceeds on sale of digital assets. And this year, for this quarter, proceeds on digital assets, very limited. So I really have to still understand that a little bit better. I feel like every time I say I do, and then I don't the next time. I don't know how to describe it, but circle back to that at some point. But this is really what I want to highlight here: purchases of marketable securities and proceeds from marketable securities and sale of marketable securities. So just as many marketable securities that they sold and matured was about as much as they bought. It's pretty much showing me the company's trying to stay consistent with the amount of marketable securities on the balance sheet. They don't want to go overboard. They want to stay fairly liquid. And keep in mind, they can earn interest on their cash through a high yield savings account, a cash equivalent like a money market fund. Cash equivalent also implies anything maturing in less than 3 months. So if it was a 1 month CD, for example, or it was a 1 month treasury bill, those are still cash equivalents, and they can still pay the company interest over time. And that's what they can keep doing with their cash until they actually go ahead and utilize their cash. So net cash flow used in investing activities, it's basically pretty much even because of the evenness of the purchases of marketable securities and the maturity slash sale of marketable securities. And settlement of stock-based rewards, fairly consistent here. Repayments of debt, it's that tiny little bit. They're going to do about like 2.5 million a quarter, it seems like, going forwards until it's gone. But it's, again, a very, very tiny interest rate of under 2%. I think it's even under 1.5%. I have to find it exactly. Exchange rate effect on cash, cash equivalents, and restricted cash. So there's always going to be exchange rate. It's always going to kind of fluctuate. And decrease in cash equivalents and restricted cash. Overall, free cash flow of negative 116.2 billion. And last quarter, the same quarter of last year, net loss of 236 million. And when I see that, right, I think, okay, well, overall, that improved on the bottom, right, at the free cash flow. But if you look at operating cash flow specifically, there's a $200 million thing. I think that's fairly significant. And if any of you guys were here for my last stream, and if you weren't, I'll just admit it right now. I said, oh, I think free cash flow is certainly going to be positive, right? And I think I said that without being knowledgeable enough to make that prediction, to be honest with you. Because now I'm looking at this, I'm like, it makes sense why there's free cash flow of negative 116 million. But that's not that significant or something that's going to make me lose sleep at night, relative to the fact they still have 1.3 billion. They could have the same quarter of $100 million loss for the next 4 quarters, which I really don't think will happen, and they'd still be okay. So I think I maybe got a little bit too ahead of myself in saying that. So maybe the cash flow statement is something I have to better understand. I feel like I've really mastered operation statement as well as balance sheet. Of course, no, not master. That's not the right word. But I guess I'm saying the area I could use improvement, and evidently through my prediction, be like, oh yeah, definitely positive free cash flow. I was like, oh yeah, it'll probably be like a couple hundred million. I think I got a little bit too ahead of myself. So definitely gonna try and educate myself on this a little bit more. But of course, and you can only educate yourself so much. Or I guess what I'm saying. No, let me back up. I can continue to educate myself, but it doesn't mean my predictions are just going to become like spot on or something like that, because you truly won't ever know until the numbers come out. But let me hit chat here. Damn, for real, what a day. What a day. And I'll check Twitter in a little bit. So much going on, so much happening so fast. Any significant moves in the stock? Nope, probably not. Like I was saying before, not even worth looking at the price. Not even worth. I'm sad watching this plays out. GME CEO fighting shorts could be Paulo. AMC CEO, I don't know exactly. GME 30 end of next week. Maybe Wish, maybe. I mean, that'd be pretty wild. That'd be quite the turnaround, but I think that's more of a longer term thing at this point, but we'll see. Sucks they couldn't build on Q4. Anyways, Ireland and Germany stores are being closed. Germany stores closed March 30th and could have lingering fees. Ireland is being shut down. Yeah, negative banana. I think you're absolutely right. You definitely want to keep momentum when you can, but it is what it is, right? We just got to kind of move forwards. And you're right; those are some of the things that are happening. And they did put in the cover letter of the filing, or just the business wire, main points, where there's about 14.5 million for restructuring after this period, and we're still going to see some the next quarter. So yeah, there are going to be a little bit of lingering fees. If you ladies and gents are buying calls on this div, remember, get some theta. Personally looking for September and beyond calls. Best of luck with those with options. Know thyself. If you're going to do options, know thyself. Won't see those benefits until full down the road. I think you're right, Negative Banana. You're absolutely right. New hype date, June 15th. We get to hear Ryan's 6 voice possibly during the shareholders meeting. And honestly, maybe. It'd be honestly kind of cool, but at the same time, knowing Ryan Cohen, he doesn't have much to say. He's going to say like a few things and be like, okay, yes, we're doing this. This is what we like. Thanks for being here. Right? It'd be short and sweet, I think, if anything. But I don't know. Who knows, right? A lot of crazy things have happened, but him saying very little has just become his thing. So, and it's his whole MO and just a part of who he is. So I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to see. Who's going to speak at the next shareholder meeting? Somebody has to, right? I don't know. We'll find out. AMC GME will pop only if we stick together. Oh, Apollo, I don't know about that. I just like GME. Best of luck with those in AMC. Lee Geronimo, thank you for being here. Stream, it's got to be a joke. Just bought 5,000 shares. CRO, nice, happy for you. I think Ryan Cohen wants credit for what's about to happen in the shorts. Possibly Sanjeet, but at the same time, I think he has plenty of credibility in the chairman role. So I feel like maybe it's a little bit more, but definitely could be a factor. You rich, bro? It's 0. You're stacking bags. If sales wouldn't have been flat from year over year, then declined by 110 million or so, would they have been profitable, assuming everything else is the same? I think so. I mean, actually, let me pull it up. It's a good question. Optimistically, I mean, like, yeah, sure. It'd be about 130 million higher, but you got to think about cost of sales. Probably would have been a little bit higher. So I feel like it still would have been a little bit of a loss, just because cost of sales would have jumped with the net sales. If the net sales was a little bit higher. So I feel like maybe it'd be more of like a $10 million loss. Maybe it'd be like an EPS of like -3 cents, something along those lines. Maybe even a break even. It just really depends where the sales would have been. Because I also want to check where the sales were in terms of breakdown. Because if I'm not mistaken, yes, this is what I saw. Okay, so hardware and accessories, that's up. That's definitely their main category. They want to strengthen that. And kind of been struggling for a while, or last couple quarters that I recall looking at it quarter over quarter. It didn't look like it was doing that well, so I definitely want to regain on that. And I think GameStop players are waiting for a way for them to restart growing that category. But the disappointing thing I'm honestly seeing here is not the software, because also, again, not their main category, but overall, they do have to keep up with these categories. So seeing any numbers down is never a good thing. I'm not trying to encourage it. But the most discouraging thing to me here is the collectibles category, just considering this has really kind of seemed like an area of focus. And it also generally has higher margins. But also, you have to think, in the type of economy we're in, when people are cutting costs, they're probably not collecting as much, right? So not as many Funko Pops, not as many trading cards across the board, maybe, right? Stuff like that. So not too sure, but that's kind of some of my initial thoughts there on seeing that because I really would have liked to see collectibles higher because again, it's just generally a higher margin category. What's causing this huge drop after hours? Batter, honestly, it's just the nature of the stock market, especially the nature of GME. The price is always going to go up, down, left, right, sideways, circles, loop de loop, right? It's you got to look at the company. Unless you're trading, look at the technical analysis. Look at the little things with the charts, right? Go ahead. I'm happy for you, and you definitely should. But if you're investing in a company, you shouldn't be too caught up in the stock price. If you're trading, different story. If you're investing, you can't get too caught up in the stock price. Of course, it matters. I'm not like, oh, it never matters. Like, obviously, it matters, and you want to try and get the best entry possible and think about the decisions you're making, but it shouldn't be the first point of where your analysis starts. Your analysis should take you to what you think it's worth buying at, if that makes sense. But yeah, what's causing it? I don't know. That's the truth. This is more to it than we are being put. Crime, Remtech, you said it, not me, but it's a lot of crazy things that go on out there with the market structure. That's for sure. Inventory purchase went up. GameStop could sell cash secure puts on GME. Bipolar, you're right. Inventory purchases did go up. That's definitely significant. In the sense like it's like okay, well, if you took away the inventory purchases, then they maybe could have broke even. So it's always kind of give and take, and it's still all in a shift. You want them to be in a position where they can always have a strong set of inventory, strong set of spending towards growth perspectives, but also be strong free cash flow positive, strong on the bottom line of EPS and just net income. And I think when that happens, and then they're really just thriving forwards, that's when the potential of a dividend happens, where they have that cushion where they're always going to be net profitable, even in some one-off event. But evidently, they're not at that point yet. But that's fine. It's going to take time. A turnaround. I like how Larry Chang put it in the documentary. He was like the one good part of watching that documentary. He had some interesting stuff to say, so at least they put him in there. And I think they knew, like, if they at least put a couple guys like Larry Chang in there, then nobody like myself would probably watch it, right? So what he was basically saying is like turning a company around is not like you do a UE in your car or you do a K-turn type shit. You do you're on a ship, you're the captain, and you're trying to turn the whole ship like against the winds and everything coming at it, the waves of the sea, all that different stuff. I mean, he didn't say it that dramatically, but he basically said it's like trying to turn a giant ship. It's a giant several billion-dollar market cap company. It's a giant ship. It's not just a car on the street type of deal. So it's going to take time. That's what I'm saying overall. It's going to take time. But yeah, get cash secured puts on GME. If you know what you're doing with options, specifically selling options, there's certainly an opportunity there. If you're bullish on the company, there's certainly an opportunity in selling puts on GameStop. But again, I'm not messing with options right now. That's just not where I'm at. Maybe in the future, I'm not going to say I'll never do it. I've totally made clown mistakes and gotten ridiculously lucky with options in the past, like had my ups and downs, but I just know where I'm at right now and I'm not trying to be in options. But I recognize, cash secured puts is just your cash being put up. And then on top of it, with cash secured puts, the underlying cash in Fidelity, for example, would earn interest in a money market account. So that's pretty nice in a high interest rate environment. So there's certainly an opportunity there. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you shouldn't do it. Go educate yourself on it. But if you are educated on it, there's certainly an opportunity here. Still 20% drop right away on this. This is BS. Talk. I don't think you're wrong, but it is what it is. I've just become honestly not frustrated by anything like this anymore. But that's me personally. And XBit, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being another big homie, a real one. I know XBit likes options. If you guys need tips, ask XBit. Um, Paulo Fiero, never selling. For me, as long as they continue to deliver shareholder value, if things like dividends come down the line, it's a collectible, right? It's an asset to have. Cash flow is tough because they can buy up inventory and pay off liabilities, which is good, but you would have negative cash flow. All statements need to be looked at together. Gotcha, bipolar. Okay, yeah. See that's always the hardest part to me, like really pulling everything together. I've definitely become much more familiar with understanding how things go hand in hand, but definitely things like inventory, I have to get a little bit of a better grasp on. So yeah, I'm gonna add it to my notes. That's really how I've been doing it, the pen and paper, like I was saying the other day. And this is where I use Chat GPT sometimes, and like I don't solely like rely on it, but I'll be like, Chat GPT, explain to me how a company's inventory level changes on their balance sheet and a cash flow statement, and how do they relate to each other, and what's the difference respectively. Like I'll type in a super complicated thing like that, or you couldn't just type it in on Google, just to get like a general idea, and then I try and like back check it with some sources, or you can usually even say like, give me some sources. So I really feel like ChatGPT and Bard are great research tools. Of course, don't ever put your personal information in there, and don't solely rely on it. Don't have it write your essay for college, right? Like clowns out there doing that. Some people I know, I have a lot of friends still in college, so I mean, I don't think they're not doing that, but I just know, I've heard of people, but whatever. Point is, think of ChatGPT and Bard and AI as research tools. You could be scared of it, or you don't have to want to use it, but like I look at it as it's out there. Everyone's using it. If you have access to it and it can help you become better as an individual, it's worth using. And that's how I kind of see it, and that's how I'm going to use it to continue to better myself with investing knowledge and just knowledge as a whole. But of course, I'm not typing in Chat GPT all day, all night long, being like, "Yeah, this is how I learn stocks." Like, don't get that from that little rant there. But just glad I got puts as well. Haha. Ram Talk. Hey, I'm happy for you. You made money. Personally, I'm never gonna do puts on GameStop. That's me. But if you make money, happy for you. On my tiny phone, you look like Roaring Kitty. Y2, thank you for being here. What a compliment. That's truly an honor. It would be awesome to talk to Roaring Kitty one day. It really, really would. That guy, just watching back some of his old streams and just how he is as an individual. What a guy. That's all I have to say. I'd love to meet him. I do see them writing though, rising. Me too, Ramtech, me too. He just needs to say buckle up. Yeah, if Ryan Cohen just tweets like buckle up, everyone's gonna be bugging. I'm like, oh my god, feels like a joke. I think we'll stub hop. We pop 40% in the morning. Ramtech. I mean, you never know. You honestly never know. Software was a big decline, 150 million year over year. That's got to be hurting the bottom line. When does the Zelda games influence show up? Q1 or Q2? I believe it's Q2, but I have to double check that. I don't know off the top of my head right now. Gah, I'm late. Crayon, thank you for being here. You're all good, man. No worries. Always, you just watch it back when you have a chance, or just rock from here. Whatever's good for you. Facts. Tetron, if buying shares, you should only be buying via CSPs. That it makes sense, bipolar. But thing is, when I'm buying shares, unfortunately, I can't. I don't have enough cash just around right now to be doing that because I would need a significant amount of cash down. So not exactly the point where we're at. Like I'm not buying shares in chunks of 100. I wish I could be, but just kind of buying shares here and there, and really just kind of allocating my capital elsewhere right now. But not like other stocks and other investments, but just preparing myself for my life. Like I'm a really young individual, so like I really just started working and all this good stuff. So I got a lot of stuff to figure out and still a little bit of school debt to pay off, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what I mean by that. But definitely on my radar. I've messed with options a little bit in the past and learned a lot of lessons from options because for those of you who haven't heard this, apologize if you already have, but how I really got started with everything, I was interested in investing at a young age. My grandpa worked on Wall Street straight out of high school, and he worked there till he retired, basically. And by the way, I'm going to have him on for an interview soon. Stay tuned. I got to make it happen. I will make it happen. I'll just let you know when. But he always looked at stocks, and I was interested in money. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So in like eighth or ninth grade, I went with my mom to open a brokerage account. They opened it in her name and my name. She's like, you can do whatever. Just don't lose your money. Don't use money you don't have. All like she gave me like rundown, like, son, I'm gonna trust you to do this, but don't be an idiot. So I was like, okay, okay. What did I do? Be an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I just started with some small investments, small things, and then as I got older, I learned about options. I got into Robinhood, traded crypto in the initial crypto craze of, I think it was when I was my senior year, like 2017, senior year of high school. Um, got all into that, and then I've traded every kind of thing you could think of. I've tried forex, I've tried crypto day trading, finding the next big coin, swing trading, selling options, buying options, four leg strategies. I've tried everything, and I made all kinds of mistakes, and I did it without truly being knowledgeable on any of the one things. And over time, that brought me to a GameStop option that I had in the very, very beginning of all this, where I made an unfathomable amount of money in January of 2021 in one shot. And I was like, holy cow, I can't believe this just happened to me. And then I lost some money in the couple months after. Luckily, not all the money I made there, but overall, it just brought me to the point of like, okay, I need to become truly familiar of who I am and where I want to be at. And also the sentiment behind GameStop became like it's about shares, don't mess with options. And I really start to understand that. And then understanding really what investing is versus trading took place over time through 2021 into 2022 and to where we are today and who I am as an individual. So I've always read balance sheets and I went to school for finance. I've always been interested in it, but I feel like I've really not really understood it until more recently, if that makes sense. So it's about finding yourself as an individual. And all those times I lost money at that point in time, I didn't have a lot of money like in high school and college when I'm doing most of all those crazy different things I'm trying out. So I was fortunate enough to be messing with all those get rich quick type of things, right? Like a lot of like 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 unless you really know what you're doing, you're not gonna do well. It's gonna be like the guru's like, I made this much, and that I was like, oh my god, they did. Not that I was buying like gurus courses. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm going on a complete rant right now. But what I'm saying is, I didn't have enough money to lose anything that would be ever significant to me. As a young individual, I was using like whatever money I was making here and there part time a little bit. That wasn't for like drinking with my friends or whatever silliness I was doing, right? So it was nothing, and I wasn't making any real money, right? Whereas I have a real job now, and I really think about where I put my capital and how I use my money because of how I was just gooning with it for so long when I was younger, if that makes sense. So I really feel like it's about knowing yourself as an individual. But yeah, that's a whole rant here. Gotcha. Haha, me too. Um, I just was not expecting this at all. This was expected, but always hedged by puts and calls. Yeah, no, I mean, Remtech, you got to do what's best for you, and knowing yourself. So that's what it's all about. Then let's see what else we got here. Subscriptions. Okay. Extended warranties. What is it? Represents performance obligations accrued recognized in accrued liabilities and other current liabilities and consolidated statement of operations. So unredeemed customer liabilities, okay, extended warranties, and then subscriptions. Okay, gotcha. That's all of 325. So let's see where we find that here. The balance sheet. So, huh. I guess that's just a part of it. See, that's where I gotta also become more knowledgeable, those little details down there. Let's see, where were we at? Cash equivalents. Total net. No, okay, we're already here. So this is the notes of the consolidated. Okay, wait. Revenue. Okay, performance obligations. We have arrangements with customers where our performance obligations are satisfied over time, which primarily relate to extended warranties and our Game Informer magazine. We expect to recognize revenue in future periods for remaining performance obligations we've associated with unredeemed gift cards, trading credits, reservation deposits, and our Power Up Rewards loyalty program. Collectively, unredeemed customer liabilities extend warranty subscriptions to our Game Informer magazine. Okay, so as the revenue is recognized, or let me read here, we expect to recognize revenue in future periods for remaining performance obligations we have associated with unredeemed gift cards. Okay, so it gets recognized over time, and it's partly um, under that's the liabilities. Or okay, I'm putting myself on a mental pretzel here. I'll move on. But see, this is the tough thing about being live. Like you get in your own head for a second, and then you're like, oh wait, what was I saying? Or what did I mean? What am I thinking? And then that's where sometimes I got my robot up on the stream, Chat GPT, and I'm like, yo, explain this in simpler terms. And then it's also good for just explaining. But is GME over? Noah Spencer, my name is Noah. You cannot be talking like that. I am literally Noah. That's me. But I'm not Noah Spencer. And honestly, Noah Spencer, it's not over. It's not over. I mean, the company's not bankrupt. So it could be over if you're not investing, and it's over for you as an individual, right? But the CNBC narrative of, oh, it's over. No, like GameStop can't do anything ever again. It's not the case, my friend. It's not the case. I've been waiting for MOAS for 2 years. Noah Spencer, honestly, it's really not just about MOAS anymore, in my opinion, right? Hate to break that to you, but I think it's not something that's gone, and everyone's definition of MOAS is different is different, and that's what I think it should be. Where it's like your definition of MOAS might be different than mine. Mine is just the idea that the price continues to significantly improve over the long term, and it just has honestly like the company is like one of the best performing in the decade. That's my perspective of MOAS because it'll just naturally mean individuals liking the company's succeeding, and the natural progression of those two things of just more share ownership through individuals over time and the company succeeding and then eventually being able to do things like buy back stock will just drive the price up. And then undoubtedly, anybody betting against it is just going to lose more if that's the case because then the price will be going up. And then those that are betting against it at some point or another decide to start buying to cover. And then that's just icing on the cake, fuel the rocket, whatever you want to call it. Tetron, you would enjoy some accounting courses. Bipolar, honestly, I should try and like watch some YouTube videos because it's like I understand the numbers and I understand what I'm reading, but there's sometimes where it's like I can't really pull it all together. I can't seamlessly like speak about it right in this moment, right? So yeah, honestly, more accounting videos because it's like it's also one of those things like if I wasn't live right now, I could like take a few minutes, like write it out and really like, take the time and understand it. But I also understand like if I take like a few minutes to stop right now and do that, then a lot of people are going to click off. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different live. But yeah, no, you're right. If I can't do it seamlessly, like I'm not on my top level. So stay tuned. I'm gonna get into that. I'm watching Rants. What up, man? Dude, did you interviewed Pulte today? I'm sorry I missed it. I had so much shit going on at work, but I'm gonna watch that back. That's crazy. How'd you get him on? Morant's in the house. Yes, sir, Michael. Boas equal run up to 100, then divvy, then run up to 100, then another dividend split. Rants. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Yeah, honestly, Abe, I kind of like that mentality. It just eventually, there'll be more splits. I think if the price continues to rise, if they did it before, I don't see why they do it again. And yeah, Boas to me is just the idea of the stock price just going up and just a lot of demand versus limited supply. And when we see action like that, I don't know. Is it all in one short period? Is it an elongated several year period? Is it a multi decade period? That's for you to decide, right? But I think the company so much more ahead for it, and this story is so far from over. At no Spencer, not in the least. Look at the dips in stock market going on sale. Greatest opportunity. That's how I see it. Me too, Christopher Card. What do you see in GME better than any stock? So no, I see strong balance sheet and truly a group of individuals that love the company and have so much passion behind the brand, and that brand passion extends but beyond shareholders. There's a lot of people who love GameStop that don't know anything about the stock or don't give a crap about the stock at all, and simply just because they love games and going to midnight releases and things of that nature. So I think the brand name is really the strength of it, and all these so many people putting the perspective of, okay, well, if I'm invested in this company, then I should buy from this company. And people understanding that over time, I feel like it's a company where management, shareholders, and customers, employees, everything's all aligned in terms of interest. So that's really the most special part about it to me. Tell Pulte to sell bullets of CSPs. Oh wait, if shorts haven't covered, then it's still game on. The gamma effect, I think you're right. Honestly, I think you're right. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's always going to be an ongoing saga. When there's nothing in the moment, it's going to be an ongoing saga. So yeah, it's clipped and posted. All right, good looks, Morantz. I'm gonna check it out later. Appreciate that. Tell Paul to builds with the CSPs. Nice, congrats on MR. And then now, haha, we're running in the morning. People are taking profits too. Are we moving in the stock? Let's see. Doing anything? Nope. But honestly, I think a lot of people will buy into this drop. Just seems like the natural way things go with GameStop, or that's the sentiment at least. I don't know if people actually will. Of course, the DRS count wasn't quite what we thought it was. I was saying that a little bit before, but or at least not what I thought it might be. I didn't really actually put a prediction on that, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of weird things going on right now with plan and book, and the sense that if your share is in plan, then it seems like it really can be borrowed by the DTC, but the heat lamp theory was the previous quarter, and then this quarter, no significant large volume days, no significant strangeness with the DRS. So it's kind of just a mystery. And at the end of the day, I think everyone has to know where, again, know yourself. So know where you want your shares as an individual. Personally, I choose to directly register shares, but that's my decision through my research. But then I also have shares in IRAs, traditional and Roth, that can't be directly registered, right? Unless I went through the self-directed IRA route. But I don't want to do all that because that's a quarterly fee. Speaking into a bunch of different things here. But point is, know yourself as an individual. And directly registered shares are definitely shares that are in the name of individuals. So it just shows the retail ownership. So it's just one part of this huge story. But I think there'll continue to be direct registration over time. And then maybe it's going to fluctuate, right? And maybe at some point it just becomes a randomly high number just because of some strangeness of the reporting. There's just so much we don't know, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. But I still like direct registration. I still like the stock. I still think it's such a big picture to look at just beyond those two tiny things. Tetron untapped potential is what makes GME a good investment. That too, Biopolar Bear. That too. Yeah, sorry, I didn't even include that part. Web3 and everything they're doing to grow. I kind of naturally just thought that. I guess I didn't really say it, but I guess I meant why GameStop, and compared to like why just another random video game company or just a Palantir or a Neo, right? Or what are these other names here? Like a Bed Bath and or AMG. Um, AM cheese, sorry, because it's trash. Or smelly cheese. Still a lot of borrows available. I'd expect some more effery. Gloves are coming off though. Michael, yeah, honestly, I mean, there's always borrowing, right? In terms of shares, it seems like. So there's always something going on. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know with the borrowing, and it's like there's just always more shares out of nowhere, and the market mechanics of the stock market are very, very complex and still something people I feel like are just consistently learning over time. And what the stock market is really just this complex web of craziness and like what's underlying is just remarkable that what it's been discovered how what the DTC is. Most people don't even know what that was until GameStop. Um, how options contracts are constantly being written by market makers. The fact that market makers can be invested in names, but also be executing trades and then be in touch with their counterparties, but then just say like, "Oh, we've never had communication with Robinhood," right? Allegedly, all these different, just crazy things to how the market works, and that's just what's blown me away over time, and what's kind of pushed me towards just investing for the long term instead of trading because I just feel like there's so much I don't know. It's so much like commotion and like there's definitely money to be made with trading. Don't get me wrong, but that perspective as a whole has just kind of kept me in the long term game right now. But again, there's other factors too, and again, know yourself as an individual. Um, is any one of you guys on profitability with GME? Honestly, Noah Spencer, I don't know my cost average to be totally honest with you. I can tell you for like one of my IRAs, it's green, right? The cost average is below 20. It's like 19. It's incredible. There's definitely other accounts that it isn't that. If I had to guesstimate, I think my cost average is about 25. That's my general idea that I say. But not that I say, like, I'm not like, yeah, my cost average is 25. I don't go around saying that. But if you like, if you had to guess, 25. Best look at, and if I wanted to calculate it, it'd take a long ass time. I'd have to calculate because there's so many individual like transfers computer share. Because also I buy a lot of times like just one share, then one share. There's a point I was buying like share a day, share a day, share a day. So that kind of thing, it's very hard to cost average when it's across multiple accounts. Best to look at this as a tug of war against a very capable adversary. Whoever can endure the longest will win this. Don C, I think that's a great analogy and a great way to put it because at the end of the day, it's a long-term game, and at the end of the day, GameStop isn't making big profits yet. GameStop player isn't entirely a thing yet. There's still a lot that has to happen in order for the company to really succeed. So I think, the hype is always ahead of the horse or herd ahead of, or whatever the expression is, except I used hype instead, basically. So the horse has to catch up to the horse is ahead of the cart. The cart has to catch up to the horse type of deal. I don't know. Not explaining it right, but you know what I'm trying to say here. I think that's a good analogy. 120 shares. Sometimes I feel like I should never invest in GME, but the same, I still believe in it. Noah Spencer, know thyself, know thyself. Get as many jobs as you can and buy more. That'll quickly get your average down. But could have invested in Meta and made 2 times. That's true, Noah. But again, if you knew Meta and you felt comfortable with investing in it, then you should invest in it because you got to know yourself as an individual. 24.43, pretty solid, Marantz. That's a pretty good cost average, man. Crayon Green got you beat at 23.66. I'd say it's 2020. You need to earn more. This is true bipolar. I feel like always earning is also like really important. Oh my god, watch what they're gonna give me like a copyright thing for this shit. Playing their garbage. Just kidding. But long-term debt remains low. Any other points I want to touch on here? No, kind of talk about this. Really curious why they just put this as a main structuring point. Maybe just to kind of highlight they're really trying to restructure Europe and just closing down like Germany, things like that. Just to kind of point it out, I guess. But Marancio, I was saying before, you called it, man. $100 million swing. $100 million swing right there. Awesome to see. But yeah, no, 73 of you here right now. For real, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. And then, yeah, I was showing before, for anyone that didn't see it, it's funny. GameStop just fired its CEO and canceled its earning call. The stock is falling. And you go to read the article, and just literally nothing. GameStop said Wednesday its board had terminated CEO Matt Furlong. Ryan Cohen was elected executive chairman. That's it. That's literally the whole article. And I was showing before, it's just comical that you look at GME, right? And number one trending, of course. But whenever it's number one trending, look what happens. You need a gazillion articles for anybody curious, right, for when it's trending. You don't want them to get too curious and figure out there's actually an opportunity for an investment. You want the average naive individual that thinks GameStop's over to click GameStop and think, oh, well, this is in the news again. What's going on here? Out of curiosity. And you want them to see all these articles or, oh, the CEO's out. Oh, my God. They canceled their earnings call. Another loss. Oh, worse than expected. Oh, my God. Terminated the CEO. That's why all these articles are here. Like, and it's just laughable for anybody that's truly paying attention. It's unfortunate that it'll kind of drive away a potential new investor, but at the same time, it is what it is. It really just is what it is, and you should be grateful if you're intelligent enough to see what's truly going on. And again, it's about knowing yourself as an individual. You can hear me say that and just go, "Oh well, yeah." Tetron says the media is lying, so he's so right. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm saying go look at the company and read into it, and then compare it into what they're saying, and be like, "What?" That's what you'll do. You'll just be like, what? Craziness. Let's see if I find anything else juicy in the report. Not really. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, yeah, it shows you the exact marketable securities, which are U.S. government securities. Let's see in section 1. Oh, I thought they were going to show something else. Yeah, 254.9 million. The adjusted gains without maturity, the fair value. A little bit of foreign currency contracts, interesting. Company-owned life insurance, very tiny amount. But really, these government securities, or the marketable securities, are U.S. government securities. That's what we're seeing here. It's not CDs and banks or anything like that. Let's see. Total outstanding debt. Oh, so look at this. The interest rate increased from 0 to 0.7% for 3 of the term loans, totaling 20 million euros, and 1% for the remaining 3 term loans, totaling 20 million euros. The French government has guaranteed 90% of the term loans pursuant to a state-guaranteed loan program instituted in connection with the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so literally the loans are under 1%. Imagine being able to earn 5% on your cash in a high-yield savings account, or even 4%. And you're paying only 1% on your debt. So they're just going to keep paying the minimum on this debt until it's gone. Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, is it 120 shares or is that mid? No, I don't think it's mid. I mean, I think it's, again, where you're at. It depends. If you make a ton of money, right, that's mid. But if you're just an average dude and you're just figuring things out, I think there's nothing wrong with 73 shares, man. Honestly. Let's see. Or not, what did I say, 73, 120. What's good, Noah? Ryan, what up? Thank you for being here. Average of DRS bot is like 300 to 500. LOL, lazy FUD. Yeah, don't get it at all. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm not too sure. Let me see DRS bot. Pull that up. Oh, doing this one. DRS bot. There we go. So let's see. 91.1. That's what it estimated. But see, now there's all kinds of like skews in the data. It seems, or not skews, but like the weird way it was the not seed shares for that one report. Still so strange though. Why that one time did they do that? I truly can see a run this morning this week. I know we didn't sell. Remtech, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a very good point you're kind of saying that. Did anybody right now really say, "Oh man, they didn't make earnings"? That's it. I'm throwing in the towel. Like, did anybody say that? I don't think so. Anybody that's long on GameStop or in it for like seeing where they're going is not just throwing in the towel after this earnings report. That simply would make no sense. So that's why it's funny, all those articles. For anybody short term on it, trying to trade it or just trying to catch a quick swing, that's what they're thinking, right? But anybody long on it is not reacting in that way. So that's why, in my opinion, the 20% price move makes no sense. And that's why I said before, it's just kind of like the nature of the stock market, where it's like, it's just going to make these weird moves. Market makers have a lot of influence, right? There's all these different factors that we just can't see as individuals. It's really as simple as that. So all those different things together, it's crazy. But it's just the way it goes, right? It's just the way she goes. And that's why I'm just long. I'm zen to it, not bothered. I could see it dropping another 20% from here this week. I mean, maybe not that much, but maybe it goes like 17. No, that would be too. Okay, maybe over the next like month, right? It goes 17. Maybe over the next month it comes back to 26, right? It could do anything. Maybe it makes big moves this week. Who knows? Who truly knows, right? Let's see. I know we didn't sell. Yeah, Marantz is GME Whisperer. Although I appreciate all the knowledge I've learned from you, Marantz. Yeah, Marantz is the GME Whisperer. And really, shout out to Marantz. If you guys haven't subscribed to him, definitely do. This guy has taught so many individuals, such as myself, so much about the stock market. Just watching his content, he's really made a lot of things make sense. So shout out to you, Marantz. Do GME owners have any other stocks in GME or only GME? Noah Spencer, again, it's up to the individual. It's all up to the individual. At Noah Spencer, my CSV's fill, I have 1,400. Damn. And my 401k is an index fund. Bipolar, same for me. My 401k, personally right now, as a young individual, I put it straight S&P 500. I'm okay with that. Heat lamp debunked after this earning. Kind of Ryan Sung, but kind of not, because it's like, what if next quarter, all of a sudden, it's reported again as this many shares are held at Computer Share and this many are held in the Seed & Co. And speaking of Seed & Co., an interesting thing I saw, somebody had posted on Superstock. I don't know if I could find it super quick, but it was basically the fine print of the Coinbase lawsuit that the SEC made. Basically because they're like, well, everything you're doing would make you outside of the ultimate central ledger. It's like, central ledger, where have I heard that before? DTCC? The DTC, right? I was CEO of GameStop, but not for long. The memes. But what is this going to mean? What is this going to mean? Is it a diss? Is it not for long? Or who knows, right? There's all these different possibilities. And Ryan Cohen is CEO. Who would have fucking thought, right? Out of nowhere. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if I can find it anymore after all the posts. This is what I saw earlier today about the Coinbase. Oh, I believe in Ryan Cohen, Pulte. Hey, this is Marantz's stream right here. But I gotta watch it back later. I'm so excited. It's so awesome. Let's see. Oh, it's just a pic. I was waiting for his mouth to move. I was like, I was so stupid. I was like, why is it not moving? But let's see. What's the person? Ryan Cohen wouldn't tweet not for long if Matt Furlong were actually being fired. That would be extremely unprofessional dick move. Not for long is how long Matt is going to be unemployed because he's already been tapped to head either Teddy or G America. A launch announcement is probably coming soon. Possible, yeah, it would be a pretty dickhead move, but at the same time, if Matt Furlong did something that did Ryan Cohen dirty, I can see him being like, all right, I'll just diss you. So again, we'll see. We'll see. But keep in mind, with all this happening right now, GameStop player is still on the horizon. GameStop seems to be connected with Teddy through the patent filings, like just some screenshots I saw. I still have to take a look myself, right? And if that's the case, that's a lot of different things that are starting to take place all at once. And it's like, yes, this was not the greatest earnings report, not the blown out of the water expectations that everyone was hoping for, not this great, amazing quarter. Oh my God, Q1, even they're doing amazing. No, it wasn't that. But again, it's a long game. I still think there's improvement in comparison to Q1 of 2022. And now they can see what happens with GameStop Player. That could become more of the focus. We still have the shareholder meeting come up. Are we going to hear from Ryan Cohen? That'd be pretty awesome, right? Um, yeah, it's what an interesting time. What an interesting twist. Mid 2023 we have for GameStop. And yeah, I think also, another lesson learned, always temper expectations. I'm so bad with saying. I think that's what it is. But temper expectations, right? Because I'd rather under promise, over deliver, but maybe under expect and get over delivery. But at the same time, I want to always take my best guess. But I think, the biggest disappointment myself for my predictions is not really even the top line. It's mostly the free cash flow prediction. I was like, yeah, it'll definitely be positive, but it wasn't, right? So again, not the best, but it's going to get better. I really think that. And as they continue to focus on these new business ventures and with Ryan Cohen at the head of the wheel, yeah, I think it'll be interesting and get very exciting. And I think there's a lot on the horizon. And with Ryan Cohen as CEO, you have to remember everybody working there now is like, oh shit, the chairman is now our head honcho. What's going on? Like the company will probably get a memo about it, and at least the top executives. At least the top executives will certainly know. They'll be reporting to him directly. So think about when you got a new boss, right? And or if you're in a situation where your boss gets let go, and then his boss is about to become your boss. Think about how you would treat that situation. You're probably even going to step things up a little bit more. Not that Ryan Cohen's going to come in and be like, like a dickhead or something like that, but all of a sudden you realize, like, my expectations as an employee might have just gone up. And I think that might be taking place a little bit within. And also, Ryan Cohen's strong work ethic. I always thought about, from my time at Marshall's, what I always try to do as a manager is do things like take out the garbage and get the shopping carts when we needed it for just a few minutes. Like, obviously, I couldn't really do that mostly because I didn't be doing things as a manager and like catching up with things. But doing the small stuff like that, I really feel like your employees seeing that, they're like, okay, well, he's doing all this shit he doesn't want to, that we don't want to do either. Like some of the hard work we don't want to do. And even Noah is the manager and he's doing it. Like, all right, like I'm not gonna like not. I don't want to do like I don't want to put these clothes away. Right? I'm talking about when I worked at Marshalls. I don't want to put these clothes away, but I'm gonna do it because no, like I'll do it for Noah. Like people literally say like I'll do this because you're the manager right now. And I'm not saying like I was just an amazing person or whatever, but the other managers sometimes just sat in the office the entire time and they come out, why is this like this? Why is that like that? And the employees are like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? So when you have a manager that's on the front lines with you, working their butt off, that really says a lot to the people around them. And I feel like it really makes everybody rise and just naturally work even harder and just step up their game even more. So with Ryan Cohen in the CEO role, I think we're going to see that take place a little bit. So that's going to be exciting. Whether it's for long or not that he's CEO, that's still going to take place right now, I think, in the coming months. So what a twist. What a twist. When my friend texted me, my coworker, he goes, wow, Ryan Cohen's just taking over the whole damn thing, LOL. And I was like, yeah, haha. And I was like, why is he saying that? I was like, or not like, why? I was just like, he's just saying, like, yeah, like, Ryan Cohen's turned the ship around, like, it's going to take time. Or I just said, oh, yeah, haha. And then I saw, like, a tweet. It's like Ryan Cohen out as CEO, or sorry, Matt Furlong out as CEO, and I'm like, what? I was like, no, for real? And then I saw like tweets like, what just happened? And I'm like, what is going on? I just got out of a meeting. I just finished up making a couple calls before I had to leave. So what a day! What a day! So much hype going in. And then a little bit of disappointment, but then a little bit like, whoa, we're not even getting a conference call, and now we have Ryan Cohen as the CEO. And that's why I love this saga. There's so much with GameStop, so much to talk about, so much constantly unfolding, but what a time to be alive. The move, or oh, gotta catch up. Damn. Um, I'm down 20K on shares. Anthony Lang, again, gotta know yourself as an individual. If you're long, I think you shouldn't worry. If you're trading, it's a tough spot, but I'm a long-term investor, and I think long-term, you'd be chilling. Today we know who are the Chads of GME. For real, Monty White, for real. Exactly. No more positive free cash flow. Howdy, thank you for being here. Yeah, I was just kind of saying that before. Unfortunately not, but it is what it is. They got to press onwards. They got to get it to at least break even next quarter. Hopefully you can swing it 100 positive next quarter. That kind of cancels out this quarter. And just go from there, right? They're still at a very strong cash position, so it's not like this happened. It's like, oh my God, they have to take on debt now. They got to go sell some of their marketable securities. They can't be in marketable securities anymore. None of that's happening. They're still putting their growth moves into play with GameStop Player, the NFT marketplace. Will there be another partnership? Will there be another acquisition? What's next, right? There's still things moving behind the scenes. Tough quarter, howdy. We'll be back to profit soon. I think you're right, Crayon. I think you're right. I'm up 100% on Anthony Lang's mom. Damn, Michael. Coming in from the front, or from the third row, or whatever it is, from the top rope. The move from 18 to 26 was probably a setup. Very well could be bipolar. Very well could be, honestly. Because it just seemed like, look how steady this run up was. It seemed like too good to be true. Just 1 month, like, oh, just running. Like, I don't know. A little too perfect. Crayon Green, genuinely confused how it went so wrong this quick, though. Yeah, I don't think it went wrong, Howdy. I think it's just a matter of 1 quarter, right? And it's a long game, and turnaround is like turning a giant ship, not just like turning a car with a K turn. Where's your DCF model? Icy Plays, oof, with the KFC logo. I don't have one, bro. I got to make one over time. That's the level I'm trying to get at. I'll have my own DCF one day, but right now I don't. So just gonna have to live with that. But I'll write it down for you. I'm really trying to better my accounting, as we were talking about a little bit before. But also, it's hard to have a DCF model right now as well, because you have to realize GameStop's in a shifting time. So you can't, what you're analyzing on very well could be shifting very rapidly. And also, they're not even net profitable yet. So it just doesn't really make sense. I'll still learn it though, right? And it's still something I'll do down the line, but I just feel like it doesn't even make that much sense right now with GameStop. I thought DRS numbers would go up drastically more after people terminated plans. Me too, Ryan. Me too. It's really interesting. And I also saw a post that apparently a couple people went to Grapevine and actually viewed the GameStop ledger, because you're legally allowed to as a GameStop shareholder or something. That was a really interesting thing. I don't know if anyone has any info on that. I want to try and find more on that. That's really interesting, because then it's also like, can you see how many plan there are? How many book on that? I think you can. And you're right. If a lot of people terminated plan, it's like, what happened? Truly, I don't know. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm not even trying to worry about it too much, because I just feel like there's so much craziness with how things are reported, to how things are shifted behind the scenes right now. It's just keeps your brain spinning. Excuse me, right? Crazy. We had to be profitable for 4 quarters in a row to get S&P. Infinite Cat, thank you for being here. But no, not in a row. 4 consecutive quarters, or trailing 4 quarters, must be positive EPS. What that means is the past 4 quarters combined must be net positive, and then only the most recent quarter has to be net positive. So let's say we have this quarter here, right, where we lost 12 cents a share. Next quarter, we make 3 cents a share. The following quarter, we make 9 cents a share. The quarter after that, 25 cents a share. The net of that would be positive 25. So even though it's only 25 cents and there's only 3 quarters in a row of net positive earnings, it only has to be 4 cumulative quarters to be net positive, or the trailing 4 quarters has to be net positive EPS. And then the most recent quarter reported has to be positive EPS. But also keep in mind, the market cap has to be a little bit higher. So if GameStop's on the horizon of that and now they're profitable, then that's the point where I think they start to buy back shares. Just getting better and learning year over year, howdy, or and leaner year over year, howdy. Jimmy's going in the right direction. I think so too, Crayon. I wonder if this tweet, my gastro once told me it's a terrible stink that people often make that people often mistake kindness for weakness was towards furlong, maybe. Um, maybe, but also maybe about the documentary. I heard somebody had said that, or had kind of seen that idea float around. So that's possible, though. It's definitely possible because it was right before Matt Furlong's terminated, the last tweet he had prior to that. But then again, I feel like you can never know with Ryan Cohen's tweets, honestly. Because Larry Chang said in the documentary last night, he was basically like, me and Ryan wish not everybody thought so in depthly about our tweets that they were coded in some way or another, when realistically they're really mostly just at face value. So, but then again, my gastro once told me if a terrible mistake that people often mistake kindness for weakness. Come on, bro, it's got to mean something, right? So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like we'll never truly know, but I love the speculation. Looking forward to GameStop Player on Telos. Me too, Justin. Me too. I'm very excited to try it out. That's one of the coolest things about GameStop. So many passionate people that love the brand. Anything they come out with, they'll go in and try it. They come out with a GameStop soda tomorrow. I think a ton of people would buy it. I would absolutely try it. Even if it was bad, I'd be like, all right, well, I had to try it at least once, right? Just because it's GameStop. And GameStop, GameStop Player, a Web3 gaming platform, really tying everything they're kind of doing together. It's going to be more e-commerce. It's going to be more NFT sales. There's going to be even more things attached to it that we don't know about it yet. I'm pumped, honestly. I'm pumped. I think it's going to be huge for them, and it really might be tying everything together. Maybe it's Gmerica is a part of GameStop Player in terms of a place there. I'm not sure. I don't know. Kind of a ramble, but we'll see. But I'm excited. You have access to Fidelity's Super Stink. Super Stink. I know you meant Super Stock, but that's funny. I just read that out loud. Super Stock reporting that GME short is over 30%. I do have Fidelity, but I don't want to pull it up right now just because I have to log in and everything. But I'll check it out after, and I could see. But I'm kind of curious. But that is interesting. There's always going to be like spikes in the short volume, and sorry, the borrow rate, and then the short volume, the shares available, but it's just constantly rotating, right? It's just like a giant game of musical chairs, as Susan Trimbath puts it, until the music stops, and it's crazy. What's up, Tetron? You still alive after work? I'm drained as fuck. Danzo, yo, big homie, good to see you, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. I figured you must have been busy or something, but I'm really happy to see you here. Yeah, honestly, man, I'm a little bit drained, especially now going for a little bit here on the stream. I don't know how long it's been. What is it? 7:30? Damn. All right, almost like 2 hours already. That's crazy, but it's been a great time. Thank you all for being here with me. But yeah, man, I'm a little bit drained, but I'm feeling good. I've been trying to take a little bit better care of myself, slowly doing that over time. A little bit better eating, trying to actually get some sleep. Not a million cups of coffee a day, all that good stuff. So, hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're taking care of yourself. But yeah, happy to see you. I was wondering, and if you're drained from working hard, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to work hard. So, hope you're doing well, though. I was wondering why we were trading at 26 before earnings seemed high. Yeah, bipolar. Honestly, I mean, it did seem, a little bit suspicious now, especially in hindsight. It's like, wow, things were just so good all of a sudden, right? And then they weren't. But then again, S&P's been running quite a bit as well lately, ever since like the debt ceiling was pretty much like, yep, no more debt ceiling. Okay, goodbye, type of deal. So yeah, we'll see. We're going to be more okay than everyone. I think you're right, Remtech. I think you're right. Ryan Cohen at the helm, all is well. OB, I think you're right. I mean, it's exciting. In the beginning, before GameStop named the CEO, there was speculation that Ryan Cohen was to become the CEO as well. And it didn't happen. It was like, okay, here's this guy, Matt Furlong, came from Amazon, seems to have extensive knowledge, really helped Amazon's e-commerce operations. I believe it was specifically Australia, and growing a lot. So, okay, he's got e-commerce knowledge. He's got some of the tools it seems like GameStop needs. Just another head. It's another driver at the wheel. It's another intelligent individual. That's what it all seemed like at the time. And then here we are. We don't know exactly what happened yet, right? Or if anything truly happened, or is really just he's terminated, but he's really about to go somewhere else. Teddy, right? Maybe. Again, maybe. But who knows? Anything could have happened. And now Ryan Cohen's just like, fine, I'll do it myself type of deal. That's what it seems like. I witnessed GME drop 50% in 20 minutes from 310 to 180. Funny thing is, instead of selling, I had purchased at 320, and 180 is a $5 drop is nothing. Abe, that's legendary, man. Yeah, no, I remember that day. I remember going outside, and I came back in, and I got in a conversation because there was a garbage can, garbage can, a garbage truck in front of my house. It was like 100 degrees outside. Or I'm thinking of the June drop. Maybe you're talking about the March one, but the June drop from like 300 something, like 200 something. There was two dramatic ones. I think the most dramatic was the March one, but during the June one, I was outside, um, with, or I went outside because there's a garbage truck that came in front of the house. 100 degrees, million degrees. I hear a loud pop. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? I look outside. The garbage truck's tire popped because of the heat. Like, it was just so hot out. So then it just basically broke down in the middle of the street, and they were just chilling. And it was like literally right in front of my house. So I was like, all right, I'm trying to be a good guy. I'm bringing out some water. It's like a gazillion degrees, and now they're literally just stuck here. So like, I just brought them out some waters, and then I don't know, I was just chilling. Like, I wasn't really doing anything else that day, so I just started talking to him. Like, I'm kind of a talker. And then all of a sudden, I come back in like 30 minutes later. Here I am, and the GameStop was down like a ton, and I was like, what the fuck? And again, that's just the nature of the stock. We haven't seen any dramatic moves like that anymore, just because I think also a lot of shares are directly registered. Um, a lot of things have changed. I don't know. I truly don't know why we don't see that much volume anymore, right? I mean, I guess there's just not as many people trading it. That's a factor. But also, there's just a lot of other factors we don't know about, right? And looking here, I never realized it was actually pretty decent volume today, 11.8. But again, that's still relatively low. And you think about pre-stock dividends slash pre-stock split levels, it's actually only like 4 million, that number, or sorry, 3 million because you divide it by four. So it's like 3 million. That was so low compared to like an average day at any point in 2021. So it's certainly interesting looking at all these different things. We will know more in the morning. Haha, I think that's true, Rimtech. We'll find out. But honestly, I think tomorrow will be an overall red day. But I think it'll climb back a little. I'm gonna guess it closes the day down 12%. That's my prediction. But what do I know? It's just fucking random numbers. So obviously I want it to go up. Um, DCF doesn't analyze quarters very well and work best with blue chip companies with low variability. Discount cash flow analysis is best for companies like Apple, Costco, and Chipotle. I think you're right, Bonte. I think that's a great point. Yeah, because it's more consistent. They have more consistent earnings. It's not inconsistent like GameStop is. And yeah, blue chip. I think you're absolutely right because that's what Warren Buffett is using a lot of times, or one of his main things, from what I understand. And obviously, Warren Buffett's not in the game of investing in names like GameStop. I'd recommend making a model and do at least 100 hours research for the company before you make a decision. It should be 100 to 1,000 research in every investment, in my opinion. Icy plays, oof, respect, but at the same time, I think I've done enough research, but I feel like I'm good with GameStop without doing that to feel like I need that before I can invest in GameStop. But I see what you're saying. I think a lot of research is absolutely important before putting your money into something. Tetron, I owe you an apology. Aster, it's all good, man. It's water under the bridge. No worries. Are you planning on buying more this quarter? Ryan Sung? Absolutely, honestly. Ideally, I want it to go below 20 before I can buy. But I'll probably at some point just pick up a couple shares here or there. But again, I'm really just trying to kind of save some money right now. A little bit of an emergency fund, paying down some more student debt, kind of finishing that up, getting to near the end of that. Feels really good. Or the main part of it, but whatever. I'm not going to get into all that. And then also just kind of preparing, for where I want to go with my life and just moving and things like that over time, and new car, all that different stuff. So not like new car, like, yeah, I need a nice like fancy car. Like, I'm in a sharing car situation right now, so I'm super frugal, or that's how I'm trying to be. So of course I'll buy GameStop as an opportunity, but I really try and pick my spots now because my position is very significant, I feel like, for somebody my age and my financial position. So again, it's about knowing thyself. So I think below 20 is really what I'm looking at. But again, I'm going to value it over time. If I have a little bit extra money at the end of the month, for example, I might be like, okay, well, I want another GME share. So I really just take it based on what's happening to me in the moment. Um, Monty, you're completely wrong. Keeping a DCF model for a chain company, whether it's private equity or public, I recommend learning the basic principles of finance. Okay, Icy Plays. Okay. Um, looking forward to Miller Times' next post on Dearest GME. They saw the ledger, I believe. Tony Sal, thank you for saying that. Yes, I think it was Miller Time. Couldn't remember the name. You're right. On r/Dearest GME, right? So that's certainly interesting. Tetron, I also owe an apology. I'm sorry. It's all good, Bipolar. You're chilling. No worries. We're all chilling. Oh, not r/GME. Dearest GME. I suppose, oof, right. You can force DCF on quarterly earnings, but you will have high levels of error when a company is going to completely change. The DCFI model showed negative. I'm not going to lecture you on this subject, but if you truly have any idea what you're talking about, you should know when to use DCF. DCF alone is just a tool, not the best, not just another tool. Live like you're poor, and you'll never be poor. I like that idea. I like that bipolar. I like that mentality. Honestly. Yeah, I'm definitely not poor, but I know what you're saying. 100%, 100%. That is the mentality because you want to just be building yourself up, right? And something I've come to realize is like it's so weird because it's like money isn't even real when you think about it, and when it's not backed by anything. Technically, all it's worth is the fact that someone else wants it. Like that's all that dollar has in terms of its underlying value is the fact that everybody uses it and that it's like a means of exchange. So when you think about that money isn't real and everything happening with the dollar right now, it's making me more and more realize that it's really about owning assets, and owning assets is becoming increasingly important, and that's why I'm trying to become increasingly educated on things like gold and Bitcoin. And not that I'm like pouring money into those two things right now, but just trying to understand assets and the complexity of like the US dollar. And having understood things like, for example, reading Peruvian bull stuff about dollar in game, it's just pretty nuts. Was it Dearest GME? Why can't I find this? I'm gooning. What is this? Okay. No, this is not it. Dearest your GME. Ah, that's probably what it is. Tetra, remember what I said to you on the resume? That was an impulse remark. You look nothing like PPCs. Oh yeah, Aster, you're good, bro. No worries. Literally, no worries. You're chilling. I just, also it's live streams are fast. People say things like you guys all type stuff. I gotta react quick with the chats. Like it's all good, bro. It's all water under the bridge. No worries, for real. That's funny. I forgot about that. No, you're good. But no, I could see like the slight relevance, especially if like you just take a glance. You know what I mean? So like you're chilling. Don't worry. Um. Money is time. This is true, Remtech. Narrative the company and their balance sheet. Ryan, it's not funny if you know who PP is. Yeah. So money is Pokemon cards, basically, Abe. Um, look after pennies. Your dollars will look after themselves. I like that on site. I like that. Good looks. Dear Esther GME. Let's scroll through here a little bit. Ledger update with actual numbers, full explanations, and details coming tomorrow. Let's fucking go. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Things to do immediately. One, immediately verify ledger date, look at subtotals, look for Tina code numbers, write down number of pages, write down number of record holders, look for BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, etc. If subtotals given, total shares, seed co, non-seed shares, number of record holders. That's remarkable, the number of record holders. And I believe I saw in the summary there's just tons of people who just own one share, and that's quite remarkable. And then also they said there's a lot of names on there you wouldn't expect, and there's a lot of names on there that you should expect that isn't there type of deal. Let's see. Whoa. Let's check it out. Palti's being bullish. Ryan Cohen, executive chairman, and Ryan Cohen having responsibility for capital allocation is bullish to me. I bought more GME right now in the after hours. Disclosure, this is not financial advice, so do not listen to me. Okay, I called it, and there's a sub that has been posting Shooting on helium theory is around 50K online. That's about 5x normal. I knew this was going to happen. Dearest took a while to catch on. Just like the Dearest ready. What's the downside booking them? There's none. Okay. Updated Dearest. Directly registered. 76.6. It's just steadily climbing right now, little by little. Better photo as requested. Is this? Not sure what this is. Yeah, this was the initial reaction. Everybody's like, what? Okay, let's just look at Miller Times Post. Okay, the biggest news I wanted to share going through is that 3,479,326 direct stock shares are on that ledger. In combination with those shares are another 18,517,911 book shares held by the same owners. So theoretically, those shares could be borrowed by Seed & Co. in times of high demand. About 22 million are enrolled in plan, essentially, because they could be borrowed. This is where it gets weird. As stated above, there are two columns on the ledger. One is CA1 underscore class underscore total, which are Class A common shares, and the other is titled SP1 underscore class underscore total, which are direct stock shares. GameStop legal confirmed these classifications. A few interesting sneak peeks. GameStop owns 78,012 shares in an Ombius account. There are a massive amount of single shareholders and 4 shareholders, probably 1 share pre-split. 3, and Seed & Co has 2 accounts, the big one and the second one with just 16 shares. So is that 16 shares maybe the planned borrowing account potentially? That would be kind of interesting, but I don't know, it's just kind of an initial thought there. Last but not least, there are some very interesting names in the ledger, but oddly enough, there are some even more very interesting names not on the ledger. Stay tuned, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for those who continue to put trust in me, and thank you for you guys who took time away from their friends and family, spent their money to get this information, benefit the whole community. Crazy. Pretty awesome that they actually did that, though. I'm excited to see. I'm definitely going to take a look at it. Let's see. Damn, Monty and Icy going at it in the chat. What's your thoughts on Teddy at this point, bro? Ryan, I think it really seems like it's going to have something to do with GameStop. I think it has nothing to do with Bed Bath. I definitely want to clarify that. But I'm not too sure what it's going to be. Is it going to be a partner with GameStop? Do they ultimately acquire it? I kind of like the idea of them acquiring it. I know Marantz has brought up that idea, and I think it'd be super awesome to see. But I'm not too sure. I haven't really got a chance to read the patents since they've been updated. I was reading them when they were pending. So I want to see their approval. I know the approval date also seems like it's going to be July 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And that's really interesting, like Happy America Day type of thing, like kind of like Independence Day, 4th of July. Is there some kind of meaning by like with that? It kind of seems like it, but I'm not too sure yet. I think there is something there with Teddy though. Maybe at least just like a small partnership. Why not have GameStop at least sell the Teddy books on their website as well? Why not? Tetra and GME will break even and go into profit margin. Uh, we need to give it time. I think you're absolutely right, Aster. I think you're absolutely right. It's just going to take step by step. It's Q1. It's historically the most difficult quarter for GameStop and just retail as a whole. Q2, I think it's going to get better. But again, I'm going to, dampen my expectations and just understand, even a break-even quarter for Q2, I think it would be pretty awesome and just another step in the right direction. And if you overall just take Q1 2023 versus Q1 2022, you see a massive difference in various categories. Let's see. What's Teddy? Teddy is the company that Ryan Cohen uses to sell books. I think it's just teddy.com, right? Basically selling children's books. When I have kids, I'm definitely gonna get Teddy books. And I almost thought, I'm like, should I just buy them for when I have kids, just to support, right? But if you could buy these books from GameStop, then maybe I'd do it. But at the same time, I am, and my girlfriend's watching this right now. We're not having kids right now, not at this moment. Full disclosure, I'm literally just about to turn 23 this month. So again, I got a lot of life to figure out. I do realize that. Um, Ryan, I heard Kazmalaj mentioned Teddy. Oh, Aster, be careful. Hold on, let me back up. The timing of that Ryan Cohen hitch piece makes sense now too. Facts, Tony Sal. Facts. He's about to become CEO. They had to smear his name a little bit more beforehand. Maybe they caught wind of it. But at the same time, I mean, could they have known? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Because you'd have to think anybody betting against GameStop is doing anything they can to get a source on the inside providing information, despite any possible non-disclosure agreements. I mean, of course, that puts somebody in a really vulnerable position if they want to like break a non-disclosure agreement. But there's also probably just a manager for a GameStop that doesn't have a non-disclosure agreement, but they're getting the information through company emails. Maybe there's a specific thing they see. Basically, maybe someone caught word of it and got the word out. So perfect timing for the dropping of making of the Meme King when it might have been being made anyway. So that's a very good point, Tony Sal. Thank you. Um, and then yeah, Ryan answering Aster opened a holding company by the name of Teddy Holdings, registered with the state of Delaware, and an entity type is bank. Ryan, I heard Cosmolage mention Teddy. Yeah, Cosmolage, the absolute clown. That guy is nutty. Um, I genuinely think though, like I'm not trying to like say anything bad about him because I don't know what an individual's going through, with anything. So I really don't want to like try and talk bad about him anymore, type of deal. So I don't know. I wish him all the best. I'll just say that. But he's got some crazy takes, that's for sure. Um, see, my brain blocks out whatever Kai says. Yeah, me too, Ryan. Um, not for long, and then for long. I wonder if July 4th to Ryan Cohen is not that long to wait. Maybe that's where we see Teddy come into play with G America and GME. Tony Sal, you're spitting some fire today for sure. I mean, it's the 7th. What's the 4th? It's less than a month. I wouldn't say that's too far long away, but yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. It would be a great timing too, because it'd also be just Independence Day. Everyone's come back from their barbecue and GameStop stock possibly doing very well, or at least just big things happening with the company. Because again, if big news comes out, something massive they do, the price wants to go down. If it's something big the company's doing, then people are just going to buy because it's inevitable. If the company succeeds, people are not just going to ignore the company forever. If the company's succeeding and the price just simply never reflects it, individuals want are going to continue to buy shares, and at a certain point the company is going to realize, okay, well, we're succeeding, we're earning cash, let's start buying back our own stock. It's undervalued. And that's also what then takes them into the territory of becoming S&P eligible through the necessary market capitalization. Then they can also start to think, well, there's less shares available, so if we start paying a dividend, that's a little bit less per share we'd be paying than if we had issued the dividend before buying back stock. So again, it's a long game. Like, I really think about GameStop in 2030, like straight thriving, like becoming like a huge thing, like huge. But that's a really long time away. And there's so much more to go between now and then. And I hope to be with you the whole way, honestly. Uh-oh. Xbit's about to get involved in the chat. I don't know if you want some of that. Ryan, I do too. Kaz is loco, for real. See, Onse, I don't know how you do it. I don't know if I can handle it. Yeah, I don't know either. Xbit, are you following me? Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America. 420 Bonk Smoke. What up? Nice name. Thank you for being here. Know you're all following me. Damn, chat is active tonight. For real, for real. But yeah, no, really. Thank you guys for being here. Really, really much appreciated. So this is interesting. We'll have to stay tuned for this. I'll quickly tell you guys my feedback. We'll do a little live feedback of the CNBC making of a Meme King. So, okay, just to have on the screen what I'm talking about. I don't want it to actually play. So, they air it live. Look at this. They're airing it multiple days. They're airing it again tonight, again on Thursday, again on Friday. Apparently, they've been advertising it like crazy. Of course, classic CNBC. And in a way, almost want to say thank you, CNBC, for saying this. You are so incredible, non-credible as a news source that you putting out this smear campaign against Ryan Cohen just makes me like him even more and makes me discredit you even more as a business, as an entity that produces news, because I understand the story of Ryan Cohen and everything that's happened. I've been watching the whole way. And this picture you painted in this documentary, it's garbage. They started off talking about Ryan Cohen's background, his incredible come up with Chewy. That's about the first 15 minutes. And the next 15 minutes, it goes into GameStop, this remarkable event. Could never happen again. It could never go that high again. It's done for. It's just one off thing. No, blah, 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 right? Just dismissing it, dismissing it. And that's not even the worst part. Then it starts, and they don't even mention the short selling at all in regards to what happened with GameStop. Not like one time are the words short seller used. And when you bring up January 2021 as your reference point, how can you not? That was the main point of thing going on at that time. And then it goes into, well, you start to really have a status as the meme king, right? That starts to become the narrative halfway through. And then it's like a guy and he's like, maybe he took that a little bit too seriously. Bed Bath and Beyond, Bed Bath and Beyond, reports of Ryan Cohen selling Bed Bath and Beyond, all this different stuff. And then it goes to commercial, it comes back, and they start going, oh, well, Ryan Cohen gets into Bed Bath, it jumps, all these people in, what's he going to do? And then Bed Bath and Beyond starts buying back stock. And because they start buying back stock, he has to update his filing because now he's more than a 10% owner. So he has to update his filing because he's of significant ownership to have to update his filing in that way. And doing that, it gets revealed that he has $60 calls, $75 calls, and $80 calls on Bed Bath. And that made people go all in on Bed Bath. People lost their money. And then what was that guy's name? That was a bag holder that they were showing. And at the end, he's like, be careful with these names. I advise you, take it from me. But it's like, bro, you probably got stuck holding the bag. It's just he's just described as Reddit user in the documentary. They're not doing your research and due diligence. And Ryan Cohen, in my opinion, with Bed Bath, saw an opportunity, didn't work out, and he moved on. That's business, right? And that's a part of things. And that's also how GameStop opened the customer care center in Florida. It didn't work out. They closed it down. You move on, right? It's a part of things. And they spun it like, oh, he did this to profit $60 million. And it's like, think about how fucking stupid that is for a second. I'm sorry to just abruptly curse like that, but did he do all that with Bed Bath & Beyond to screw people over, lose $60 million when after GameStop exploded in January 2021, he could have just sold at the top. He could have just sold at the top and made a ridiculous amount of money, hundreds of millions of dollars like that. Why would he go into Bed Bath and use his status as meme king to just perform a rug pull? When you look at the actual company and there's private equity people from with shout out Morantz from within, just destroying it from within the inside, just making poor decisions. He said he thought Bye Bye Baby was worth $1 billion, but that would have been through doing the things he wanted to do. And evidently, it didn't happen. And just because he said that's what he thought, it doesn't mean it's just Ryan Cohen's the Almighty says something it just is, right? Like that the way they like made it seem like people are just so stupid, like individuals like myself that are investing in GameStop are just stupid because they're just blindly following this guy and oh, look what happens. It's like they're just making a fool of the individual investor. Like classic CNBC. Absolutely fucking classic. And it's probably one of their most viewed programs or viewed documentaries they've had because there's a lot of people curious like me. And we just remember, like, yeah, CNBC is literally garbage. And that's what you're reminded of when you see something like this. So that's my overall opinion on it. I think it was really to just smear Ryan Cohen. It really doesn't even explain the ongoing saga. And they see he's in Nordstrom now. He's in Alibaba. He's so demanding and just bad. Not honestly, not even worth watching in my opinion. Let's see. No, you were following me. Cheers all around. GameStop isn't the next Amazon. It's the first GameStop. Yes, sir, Tony Sal. Yes, sir. GameStop is the next GameStop. Sources close to me have informed me that GME is the next GameStop. That's just what my sources close to me are telling me. Take it with a grain of salt. Expit a little Tetron, you're welcome. Thank you. The word on the internet is you own GME and your girlfriend owns AMC. No, on site, no way. Dude, I'd dump her if she owned AMC. Are you kidding me? She literally said to me, like, oh, we should go to the like a while back, should we go to the movies this weekend? But like, we don't have to go to an AMC. We can go to a different theater. And I was like, I like where your head's at. So she knows, bro. She knows. Don't worry. She is no way at AMC. AMC's a no go. Hollywood sucks. Agreed, though. Who's falling for this crap boggles my mind. I just watched CNBC to laugh. Me too, is Tony Sal. Me too. And then maybe I remember I used to put it on, try and hear about earnings when I was like younger. Not even GameStop. Like when I used to just follow like stocks or I try to trade or when I was like invested in things. Oh yeah, by the way, originally I was invested in things. Stock would make a little move and I'm like, oh, I might as well just take profit. But that's also when I was like investing in high school, right? So again, all lessons. Um, Tetron, I missed out on the GME stop squeeze or short squeeze. Yeah, I mean that's the original, the beginning, but I think there's just so much more to come, Master. Honestly, quote unquote, Brandon. Yeah, oh yeah, Brandon. Yeah, yeah, that was the guy. That was like, be careful with these names, man. Be careful. Lost some money on Bed Bath. About time Ryan Cohen stand up to this BS. The fuck is a meme king? Ryan Sung, honestly, I think his silence is the way to go just because it drives him even more crazy. He's in all of these people's heads rent free. And if you think about it, he's got a lot of time left to be in the game and invest and do things in the stock market. He's what, like 30 something? He's got a lot of time, right? So I think he just lives in their heads rent free with this new age like style of investing or whatever you want to call it. I think his silence just rings so loud in their ears. They're like, "Oh my god, we can't ever get a rise out of this guy." And then they drop this, and then he's just like, "I'm CEO now. Yeah, fuck it. We don't need an earnings call." Like, I love it. I honestly love it. Like, I really feel like that's his mentality. And agree though, what the hell's a meme king? I did sell a $23 call at $3.95 at 357. Yard draw. Honestly, I'm happy for you. You probably made a ton of money on that. So happy for you there. But again, if you're trading, that's you as an individual. Know yourself as an individual. Never just do things to do things. Or you're doing a hedge, you're making a certain type of bet for a certain type of reason. That's good for you. I'm happy for you. But again, know yourself as an individual. BBY made poor choices, buying back shares for $40 and selling more for like $1. Yeah, exactly, Aster. Extremely poor choices, but they don't mention that in the documentary. She's a keeper. For real, Abem, for real. Nah, on site, you're good, bro. No worries. You're good. No worries. I figured you were just playing, but I figured I'll just take it and run with it. Ryan Cohen takes a stake. The allure of Ryan Cohen. And I love the whole episode. GameStop strategy. Definitely not their strategy, whatever they said there. It's so funny because throughout the whole episode, they are painting. They have someone like painting this portrait, which is actually kind of cool of him, which is all these different colors. Like I kind of like that. I thought it was dope, but I just thought it's so random. Like throughout the whole thing, they paint this like weird portrait of him as like these in between scenes when they're talking, and also like certain parts of it, they show or they have Ryan Cohen talking from other footage. Like they even showed when he talked to GME DD, and they're like, "Well, I guess he would only talk to them because, you know, it's the people that love him so much, so he didn't want to take the hard questions." That's how they spun that, and they were showing like clips of it. Just all kinds of stupid shit like that. Um, Options must be a Zoomer thing. Yeah, no options. There are a lot of people I know that definitely play options, or definitely in college, it was like a hot thing. Like meeting another options trader, I was like, oh yeah, bro, you mess with that? Like, you know this game? And also, I remember people thought I was like mad smart because like I'd have TD Ameritrade, all these charts. I threw MACD in there, I threw moving averages. I was like, and even in high school, when you could start like towards the end of high school, when I'd start bringing in my laptop, I remember bringing it in and doing research like on stocks, and people looked like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I trade stocks." And this was before it was cool, right? Before it became a trend during the pandemic and everything. And I'm not saying like I'm super cool, but it's funny because everybody thought like, "Oh, this guy is like all these numbers and these charts and everything." And at that time, I was literally not making any money. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just some young idiot. You know what I mean? So it's just funny. Everyone in my classes thought like, "Oh, this guy." But in reality now, I've learned through this whole time, and like I know where I'm at right now with myself and just what I like with investing and what I want to do with investing at this moment in time, and just keep adapting over time. But my point is, some of those same people might not even be trying to invest till now, and then they're going to make a lot of mistakes. And unfortunately, when you see a lot of people lose a lot of money on a name like Bed Bath and Beyond, it's inexperience. I'm not saying I'm super experienced, but I was sketched out by Bed Bath. I traded a little. I'll be honest. I initially traded a little, and then it started going up, and I was like, "Fuck, do I know about this? I'm out of this. I'm just gonna trade it and be out of here." And then also, I just started to see like a lot of potential problems, and yeah, I'm not saying again that I was a genius, but when it smells bad, it's probably shit, right? Like if it smells like crap, it's probably crap. So yeah, but the whole Bed Bath thing is very unfortunate, and I almost feel like Ryan Cohen becoming CEO, even if it's like just a temporary thing, he wants to show everyone like I am all in on GameStop. You want to watch this garbage documentary saying like, yeah, I'm gonna just mess around with these other names and rug people, but look at what I did with my GameStop shares. I've only decided to hold or hodl, and then I bought a little bit more after a long time of not buying. He bought in March 2022 after not having bought since the end of 2020. So puts his money where his mouth is. He hasn't sold a single share. And now I think he's like, all right, I want you guys to really know I'm all in. And he's going to be CEO and most likely not even have compensation, right? And I think the ultimate big dick thing to do, and I apologize, now I'm starting to curse left and right, is to go out and buy some shares now, next week, or later this month. I think that'd be incredible. And the Web3 stuff comes out. But regardless, you have to think he has such a significant stake already. And then you have to think also, if the company inevitably buys back shares, his stake only gets larger. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Because he's only eligible, as far as I'm aware, to own up to 20% of the stock. So he's at what, like about 12% right now? So if they start buying back stock, that number starts to get bigger in terms of percentage. So he doesn't want to just necessarily buy it all up because he doesn't want to be in a position where he's forced to sell. But could those terms be renegotiated? I don't exactly know. We'll have to see when that time comes, right? But let's say he just came out and bought like 50,000 shares. It's even if he bought like 10,000. It's so minimal, like relative to his wealth and relative to his share position. But just that vote of confidence would be like incredible, especially after that garbage documentary. Um, in high school, I owned a Nokia playing Snake. Nah, Abe, yeah, no, it's crazy. As I was getting to high school, that's really when like it became kind of the norm to have like laptops in school. It's pretty weird at first, and of course, I was like, I want to do my own thing. I don't want to, the school stuff. Like, yeah, taking notes, trading stocks in class, not knowing what I'm doing. Touch on I was in high school from 1998, 2002. Guess my age. So that would make you like 18 in 2002, 2023 to like 20 years later. So damn, you're just about 40, man. But hey, who cares? Yeah, who cares? Age is just a number, right? We're all just out here learning and liking GameStop and just looking at different things. Um, Esther, in 96 to 00. It's crazy. I was literally born in 2000, so that's incredible. But sorry, my bad, guys. I'm not trying to insult or anything. I got a bachelor's degree in business in 2005 to 09, and I learned 10 times as much since the sneeze than I did in school. Tony, I feel the same as you in the sense that I went to school, I gained a bachelor's degree, but I really don't even feel like I learned that much. I feel like most of the stuff I learned on my own over time, and then especially since the sneeze and getting involved with GameStop, I really feel like my knowledge has come to a whole new level, and I really understand investing versus trading, and just really trying to conceptualize things and all that sorts of stuff. But even before that, I always tried to understand stocks. One of the first guys I ever watched on YouTube is Financial Education. In his early days, I really thought the guy was awesome, to be honest with you. I mean, now I know he's not the great. I don't even really follow him that much now. I don't know. I hope he's doing well. But he's just a simple guy, and he was like, listen, like, I just didn't even go to college. Like, I got a job working overnight at Quick Trip. It wasn't the greatest, but I understood if I worked really hard and I was careful of how I'm spending my money, I can begin to invest in the stock market. And if I only invest in things I truly know and understand, I actually have an opportunity to take my wealth to the next level. He was early on Tesla, fairly early on. I mean, not early, but like he was in Meta prior to significant increases, right? because keep in mind, I was watching this guy in high school, like I think 2016, 2017 originally. So he really taught me a lot in the beginning. And I feel like that guy alone was teaching me more than the intro classes to like simple finance. So that knowledge alone, I mean, obviously there was some stuff I learned in school, some stuff they taught me that I thought was kind of useless. I wish I paid more attention to understanding bonds because I just did what I had to do to understand them to get by in my classes. But reason was like also this is the crazy thing. Like you think about my whole life, interest rates have been 0% essentially, or 1 maybe 2% because I was born in 2000. I wasn't since I've been able to financial like understand finance. Interest rates have basically been zero. And then even looking at any recent memory, I was like, well, how would interest rates ever come back? What is it like calculating the risk-free rate even matter? What does it even matter with this stuff because there's never going to be interest rates. That was my ideology, and then seeing interest rates and seeing the economy shift, the shock of the pandemic on the market, all these different things just really changed my perspective a lot. But I really wasn't paying attention to bonds as much and understanding them the way I should have been, and because they were being taught. So that's something I do regret learning in school, but not learning in school that I could have. But overall, I feel like taking the time to just go down the rabbit hole and just understand nooks and crannies of finance and just wanting to continue to learn is just made me understand. It's not like school showed me some great guide. And also just I've seen Reddit posts that have taught me more than a textbook sometimes, right? And maybe not an entire as much as like a class or a textbook, whatever. But my point is like maybe that post like described an aspect of finance that I'm like, I never fully understand that, but that actually just made it make so much sense. And it was using like bananas and apples or bananas and monkeys or some silly example. So that's kind of the cool part about individual investors collectively communicating constantly because it makes everybody smarter together also. But also, yeah, it's the want to know. And then, yeah, school, I don't know, doesn't teach you as much as it should, honestly. I've also read about probably 2 hours a night since the sneeze. That's awesome, Tony Sal. I've really been trying to read because something I struggle with as a young individual is definitely I would say my attention span. But I definitely don't think my attention span's as bad as a lot of other people my age and some people even younger. Shorts, man. The shorts, there are people I know or kind of hang out with or whatever. Uh, they can't even like I'm not more so me. Mostly my brother will tell me like he knows people is like they can't even hold like a conversation without being on their phone and just swiping, and it's like why are you even doing that? Like you're just like a zombie. Like with TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, everything's about swipe, swipe, short videos, swipe, short video, swipe, swipe. And I feel like it just ruins your attention span. So I try so hard not to consume short form content. I'm like anti short form content in the sense like shorts. So I'm really trying to get out and reading again soon because I feel like that'll really like help your like focus level or attention span. Because actually something I talked about with my girlfriend recently, she's like, I am trying to read a book right now and I am having such a fucking hard time continuously like picking it up and actually like holding on to it because of my attention span. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be really hard for me to read a book too. And I'm like, wait a minute, when is the last time I read a book? Holy crap. And I used to like reading business books when I was younger, like in high school. I was curious. And even read a book about like Jordan Belfort's book, like How to Sell. I thought that was kind of interesting, the straight line method. Just wanted to become more well rounded. And yeah, so I'm not really trying to read books about finance, I'm trying to continue actively learning specifically through GME, but I definitely want to read finance. I mean, I'm not that I wouldn't, but I want to read other books like about becoming more of like a man, more books about like just economics as a whole, wealth, history, right? I don't know, stuff like that maybe. So yeah, I think I needed to hear that honestly, Tony, because I said it, so I got to do it. I got to do it. If I say it, I got to do it. Start reading. Add it to my to-do list. I was a career college student, 2002 to 2011. Anyone think Ryan Cohen or Tetron 39 here, born 1983, age is really a number. Exactly, Aster, exactly. Anyone think Ryan Cohen will take a paycheck? Nah, I think you're right, Crayon Green. I don't think so. It just doesn't seem like it would match with how he's been. Ryan Cole will not take a paycheck. Can almost guarantee that. Agreed, Tony. In high school, we had payphones. Yeah, no, it's. I almost wish though that there were no phones and everything growing up. Like hearing about my parents' stories of when they grew up and how it was like a fun time, and they're like, we could do whatever we wanted. There was no cameras. There was nobody gonna just pull out their phone and be like, "Oh, world star!" Like like whatever had to be settled had to be settled, right? And not that I'm saying like did my parents like delinquents or something like that, but my point is like you didn't have to worry about these same type of things you have to worry about now in this day and age. And and they described it as like when everyone was hanging out, it's like you would just drive up and down the block, or everyone would go to like this one like McDonald's or something. It was like known as the spot, and like you weren't doing anything. Like you're with a couple friends, yo, let's go by the McDonald's, see if anyone's around. Like there was no like calling someone's cell, hey, yo, where you at? Try to pull up. Like that's the that's what I grew up in, and I almost wish I really got to grow up. Not almost like I do. Like I wish I got to grow up without phones and like in a little bit of a simpler time, but it's not a choice I have to make, right? So just live and learn, and age is just a number. So last year I was born in '83 too. First time I saw a cell phone in person, I borrowed a classmate's mom cell phone in 1997. That's crazy. It was more earlier experience is valuable than a classroom. Agreed, Aster. You know, it's funny you say that. I'll tell you guys a story. I fought with my parents a lot about not wanting to go to college because I was okay. I just want to work. I want to make money and I want to invest. And I just want to start my life. And I was also just very motivated at the time. Like, I'm just going to figure it out. Like, I know it seems crazy. I'm just going to figure it out. They're like, okay, but how can we be okay with this, Noah, if you don't even have a plan? And then that's ultimately why I went to college. I was like, I don't truly have a plan. I know what I'm interested in, like stocks, finance, owning my own business, generals, doing my own thing type of deal. But I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I need something more, right? Or I need at least a direction right now. So that's mostly why I did the college degree. But then also during that time, I was becoming a manager at Marshall. So I was like, fuck, this blows, but I'll become a Marshall's manager. But I would say it was for the best because one, I met my girlfriend at college. So very blessed for that. She's wonderful. Shout out to her if you're watching. But also, I, got to meet some people, got some experiences, got to see some different perspectives, the small stuff that comes with college, right? And also just getting out and being like, okay, well, this is the real world, and seeing how I felt before college, after, but also, at least I have a degree, right? And I'm also in a position now where I was able to get out of Marshalls. I was miserable by the end of becoming a Marshalls manager. It was great money, but it sucked. It was a lot of hours. There's a lot of overtime opportunities, but it sucked. You're working a lot of holidays. You're going in super early, then you're coming in super late. Then you got to do the overnight inventories, and I was like, oh, I'm going to school. I'm going to school. So, in the worst of case scenarios, I was like, I'll just work a regular job. I'll just be whatever. But ultimately, I wanted something bigger. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with working a regular job. I'm on a total tangent here. But my point is, I actually didn't want to go to college. And then I did because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But also, yeah, I was just trying to just be, I guess, rebellious. Not just rebellious, but I was like, I don't know, trying to figure stuff out. I'm ranting here. But yeah, I also always thought like experience is more valuable than classroom. That was like my argument. Anti-shorts in many ways. Facts, Tony Sal, facts. I am anti-short in many ways. Do you expect full year profitability still? Ryan Sung, it's Q1. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I think really a strong Q4 will be necessary to like tie it all together. And of course, it depends how Q2 and Q3. But now I'm gonna start guiding towards EPS being 0 for Q2, just break even. Q3 slightly positive. Q4 net positive. But also, I wouldn't say it's impossible. The next quarter is another slight miss in terms of negative EPS. Then even the following quarter, let's say the Q3 is just break even. Next quarter's negative 6 EPS. The following quarter is 0 EPS. Then Q4, we get 50-cent EPS. If you think about it, negative 12 plus negative 6 plus 0 makes negative 18. That would be the 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter would be 50-cent EPS. 50 plus negative 18 is positive 32-cent EPS, and it'd be the most recent quarter net positive EPS. And if GameStop was at the necessary market cap at that time, they would be theoretically S&P eligible at that point. So I think something like that could happen, and that would also mean they're overall profitable for the year. I don't think they're going to make a killing this year, but I think they're going to be profitable for the year, and I think GameStop Player will be up and running by the end of the year. So I do think they're going to turn a profit all in all in 2023. What are your thoughts on me? Beast mode. Thank you for being here. I wish I had graduated in business. What are your thoughts? Oh, GME. I was like, I don't know you, bro. I don't know you like that. I seem nice, but I'm just happy you're here. But yeah, what are your thoughts on GME at open? I bought a 25 today. Turned out to be dumb luck. Beast mode. I think you're good. I think if you're long, you're straight chilling. Um, but I think tomorrow we're gonna open down. We're gonna rise up a little bit. My guess is by the end of the day, and I just said this before, it's like a random number. We're gonna close the day down 12%. We're gonna make up a little bit ground. But anything could happen. It closes the day down 30%. It could close the day even. It could close the day green. Who knows? It closes down 40%. I mean, I think that'd be very, very intense. And there'd be a lot of volume then coming and buying. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a red day, but I think it's just going to be a volatile next several days. And then it's just going to kind of be like back to business as usual. Just some downward cycle, then a little bit of an upwards. And yeah, I don't really see it going to another 52-week low. I think that'd be very, very odd, and just very unlikely, just because they still have such a strong cash position. Still, overall, if you look at Q1 2023 versus Q1 2022, still significant change there. So I just don't see that happening. But I think it could go. I think it's going to go down tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a dramatic reversal, unless, of course, we get some kind of crazy announcement. And when I say back to business as usual, that's until there's some kind of announcement, until GameStop player launches, until GameStop officially gets involved with Teddy, until GameStop acquires Teddy, until Matt Furlong becomes CEO of Teddy, until Ryan Cohen mentions Teddy. Like, who knows, right? Lots to come. There's so much to come. And remember, it's not going to be like, oh, this upcoming date. The next upcoming date is the quarterly earnings, right? We can look for about 3 months from now. We can start thinking about early September for the next earnings, right? For Q2 to be reported. But keep in mind, if another partnership comes out, another big business move GameStop makes, or when GameStop player launches, it's not going to be like, oh, this is the launch date. It's just going to be like, it's here. And then it's going to go from there because that's just how they rock and roll. Basically, Max Payne by Friday. LOL. Yeah, probably Tony Sal. It seems to be the classic. 23. Tetron, 2 of my sticks went down today. Oh, damn. Or stocks, probably. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, sticks. Stocks. Yeah. I mean, it's the way she goes sometimes, right? But how about this run Palantir's been on? Isn't that crazy? And that's kind of another common name maybe some of you are involved with. Do have some shares of Palantir. They're an IRA from a long time ago, so they're kind of bag held. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do have a couple other small positions in some other names, but they're so minuscule compared to GameStop that if you took away every stock I own that wasn't GameStop, I'd be more than okay with it. Put it to you that way, because it's so minuscule compared to what I own to GameStop. Because these are just positions I have in IRAs from a longer time back, or just speculation straight. It's there, like it's already there type of deal. I'm not adding money actively into other names right now. Put it to you that way. And then I do have a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Loop Ring, and the tiniest bit of IMX. And that's just me. But Palantir is certainly interesting, and they have a fairly strong balance sheet, but they already have a massive market capitalization, even though they have a strong balance sheet. And they do have a lot of marketable securities, pretty strong insider ownership just at a glance, but it's really just the AI hype, and then NVIDIA is running crazy in the AI hype. I'm sure definitely people have been making money on the trades. Like I was even saying to like my friends, like texting in the chat, my buddies that trade a little bit, or just like we just talk stocks of what's going on. Not necessarily like traders in there, I'd say, but we're just talking. I was saying like I think I was like this AI stuff is huge right now. It's probably the next trend. There's probably a trade on it, and if you played any name on AI in the past like month or two, like you definitely made a ton of money. So like I would have been right, but again, I'm not in the business of trading right now, so like that's just not me. I don't even know what this C3 AI thing is, but just because it has the name of AI, it's literally running and it's getting momentum. Let's see, look at this past year, past 6 months, past month, just because of the AI hype. Tetron's my PLTR stock. PLTR is my other stock other than GME that went down. Aster, dude, I read your mind, bro. Read your mind. But yeah, again, I'm not interested in buying PLTR. I have that little bit that I have from a long time ago, and I'll just kind of let it rock and roll. Again, just because it's an IRA. Because, again, it's in an IRA. The only other thing I can put into is GameStop. I'm not going to just take out the cash and take a distribution from my IRA at 22 years old. That makes absolutely no sense, right? But at the same time, part of me thinks, should I just consolidate and put it in there? But also, I'm like, I'm good where I'm at. And I'm also at a point where if I'm adding shares at this point, I want them directly registered. And again, everyone's going to make their own personal decisions. That's what it's all about. This whole thing is extremely strange. Clearly, no one knows what's going to happen. Exactly, Mark. I think that's the lesson we've learned time in, time out, is that you can always just expect the unexpected to happen with GameStop and this saga as a whole. There's just always something. Let's see what's on Super Stonk. Damn, get some water real quick. All right, GameStop announces Ryan Cohen as executive chairman. Ryan Cohen on Twitter, not for long. Let's read some comments on these two, because these are always interesting. Like any big posts, I always like to read the comments, see where people's heads are at. Excuse me. Tetron, you did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reading minds out here. GameStop announces election of Ryan Cohen as executive chairman. How do we spike to 28 and back to 24 in 5 seconds? Parkour. Executive chairman, unlimited power. Item 8.01, other events. On June 7th, 2023, in connection with the events disclosed in item 5.02 of this current report on Form 8K, the board appointed Mr. Cohen as executive chairman of the company, effective immediately. Mr. Cohen's responsibility will include capital allocation, evaluating potential investments and acquisitions, and overseeing the managers of the company's holdings. Additionally, on June 7th, 2023, the board appointed Mr. Adel as the lead independent director of the board and dissolved the Strategic Planning and Capital Allocation Committee. My take, capital allocation, example of which is a merger acquisition. Strategic Planning and Capital Allocation Committee disbanded, but Cohen is now overseeing capital allocation, so the strategic planning is over, and now it's about to splurge some cash on an acquisition. Possible, but I also think they want to still keep a significant amount of cash just because, they're teetering on the edge of profitability. What if the economy gets significantly worse? Some craziness happens that just burns the economy even worse than people imagine, right? Kind of always expect the unexpected. So I think still a decent cash position, but you have a company that you can acquire that can be easily integrated into everything you're doing that wants 300 million. It's very doable. It's very doable. And like I said, they're on the teetering on the edge of profitability and maintaining positive free cash flow. But when they can keep those consistent, you can acquire a lot easier. But if you also know from internally, like that's what's happening from here on out and in the next couple quarters and beyond, again, unless something drastic happens, then you're in a position to kind of make an acquisition. So it's possible. This was a twist, absolutely bullshit as fuck. What does this mean? For long gone, dip tomorrow. Explain the meme king smear campaign. LOL. Yep, exactly. It means they mistook his kindness for weakness. Seems like it. For long has to take care of the baby. Oh, maybe, right? Like the tweet about the baby, like that he had about like this is 9 months or I don't know. I was going to say low interest loan from the French government. Sure, that's funny. That's why they talk so bad these days for him. Let's see. Let's see his candle. All right. Let's see what else we got. Ryan Cohen on Twitter. Not for long. I feel like you don't make a joke like this unless something happened behind the scenes. Yes, 100% agree. Yeah, exactly. Either he did him wrong and Ryan Cohen's like, all right, I'm going to clown you. Or he's putting him in a spot where he's maybe chairman, or not chairman, CEO of Teddy or running Teddy, whatever it is. And he's saying, well, he's gone, but not for long. Or who knows? Maybe it's none of it. He's just, yeah, I think it has to be one of the two. I think either he's gone and he's saying, like, he's gone, making fun of him, Matt. not for long, or CEO, not for long, or he's saying Matt Furlong is gone, not for long. It kind of seems like one way or the other. But is there other details that'll come out? I think we'll see. Or G America CEO. I know some people are talking about that, but I don't know. Wouldn't G America be still a GameStop company, and he wouldn't be a part of GameStop anymore because he's terminated? So did he both just say he's not the meme king for a long while? Also doing the Matt Furlong meme. Furlong is not gone for long, possibly. This cheeky motherfucker really just tweeted not for long. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Teddy idea. Hello, the weird spot. Bruh. These comments are dumb funny. Bullish on whatever he means by this. Furlong to lead a spin-off of GME Entertainment slash Teddy. That'd be really crazy. GME's Entertainment spin-off, but I don't think that's the move. Yeah, I gotta watch Pulte on Morant's Rants. I'm so curious. Let's see what this person thinks. And shout out to that person. I don't know if you guys caught that post below. It said day 420 overrunning until MOAS. Shout out to them. Get themselves in better health and better condition while waiting for something. And just like, Richard Newton, you guys know that guy that puts up videos. It's a pretty cool dude, math teacher. He said a long time back, he's like, I'm not cutting my hair until MOAS. This man has not cut his hair, so mad respect. Okay, so Ryan tweets means something. Let us think. Okay, as we now know, Furlong is out, but Ryan wouldn't publicly humiliate Matt like this, in my opinion. Something behind the scenes is brewing, and I think Matt will be leading when it comes to light. I may be wrong, but my opinion is this tweet means more. What makes me think this is no bad news has come out about Matt. Jimmy has been going on strength and to strength. What are your thoughts? He's gone, but not for long. Teddy bound, I'd say. Agree that Ryan Cohen is the part first and just for employee on Twitter, especially one that he sort of handpicked 2 years ago. On top of that, sure this quarter was still a lost profit, but you can't deny that GME's balance sheet is improving year over year and this slowly improving the economy. Seems like something else at play. Yeah, so exactly kind of what I've been saying. I'm going to stick to it. Either Matt Furlong did him wrong, like he had a low blow, he told somebody something about what's really going on with the business, or something along those lines, where Ryan Cohen was like, out, get out, goodbye. And then he's going to clown him on Twitter because he's did him dirty, so Ryan Cohen's going to do him dirty back, if that makes sense, like kind of trading shots. Or it's, he's tweeting it because there's something. Like, I don't think it would have been halfway where it's like, oh, well, it's just not happening fast enough, this turnaround, right? Sorry, Matt, this just isn't what we expected, we thought it was going to be. So unfortunately, we got to let you go. I don't think if it was like that kind of conversation, Ryan Cohen would then go ahead and tweet, not for long, just to troll. Like, this doesn't seem characteristic of him. So it seems like either he's bound for Teddy or this side project of some kind that's going to be tied to GameStop or have some relation to Ryan Cohen, or he completely screwed Ryan Cohen in some way behind the scenes. But we haven't heard anything about that. So again, it's all just allegedly right now. Let's see. I've been here since the beginning. Not going to lie. Balance sheet looks good. EPS was disappointing, however. I'm holding at this point. It really seems like it's going to take another year. Yeah, Mark Anthony, I think you're right. It seems like whenever an earnings report comes, it feels like, oh my God. And then it's like, okay, back to the usual, right? But yeah, the balance sheet's in great shape. Of course, you want to see EPS positive. Of course, you want to see DRS count higher. But, all these things take time. And I just think it's inevitable because everything also to do with the OG original thesis of potential, allegedly, right? Short interest underlying. It will just naturally bubble up as the company succeeds. So long as I'm keeping up with the company and where the company's at, and they're doing well and they're still moving in the direction, nothing's changing in how they're doing things and where they're moving to, I'm really going to try not to sweat it and just, not endlessly pour my capital in, but I'm going to buy when I see an opportunity, when I'm in a financial position to. So I think it's all about knowing yourself. So if you're in a spot where you're just trying to hold right now, I think that's great. I think that's honestly good to know yourself. And you don't want to just keep putting money in and then think, well, like, I need this to happen soon because I need this money for something else. Like, that's never a good thing to do. So they're not buying BBBY. That's a fact, bipolar. That's a fact. Oh, I just realized I don't even have all messages on the side. Damn, I'm sorry if I was missing messages before. I do apologize. Oh, okay. It says show most messages with potential spam removed. So, damn. I didn't even realize I was on the side like that. My bad. Um, I don't miss a single Richard Newton video. He's like DFV level badass. For real, Tony Sal, for real. Honestly, I don't know why I stopped watching him as much. I always try and keep up with my rants. But I mean, to be fair to myself, like, I'm trying to always do my own thing too. And like, also consume content, trying to better myself as like an individual and just other aspects of my life and stuff like that. So I started watching stuff again recently. And I was like, I haven't watched in so long. I gotta watch some. And then, of course, I always try to keep up with my rants. I tried to even watch like Lightning here and there when I used to. Even that guy like Ben that used to post stuff, but then he started posting about Bed Bath, and I was like, not credible. Goodbye. Mr. Business or something like that. And also like he's just like mega nerdy. I don't know. Like no offense to that. Like not trying to knock him for that, but you can't start talking about Bed Bath and Beyond and then like you're not credible, bro. Whatever. But point is, I do like to listen to other people as well because it's good to always get perspective, even though I'm like a GameStop YouTuber, so to speak. But he's pretty cool. CEOs get let go all the time. That's you, bipolar. That's a good point. It happens. It's part of the process. It's part of the time. But yeah, guys, I'm getting really burnt out. I think I'm probably just about to wrap this up. See if there's anything else good on Super Stonk real quick. Oh no, it's Jesus. What a funny name. Ben, Mr. Business. Yep, that's him, Tony Sal. Yeah, I don't know. Since you started talking about Bed Bath, like, and then over time too, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just don't like his takes that much. But that's me. I'm not trying to knock the guy. The guy's doing his thing, right? It is what it is. At least he's not PP Seeds, PP Clown Show, PP Bozo. I was CEO of GameStop, but not for long. It's just funny to seeing the memes everywhere. For long, for long, for long. All right, let's keep going. Oh, back is starting to hurt. 76 million shares directly registered. Oh yeah, we were close for it. A hit job documentary. Millions of shares available to borrow out of nowhere. Media jumps on Furlong leaving with little detail and speculating reasoning. 50K users on Super Stonk out of nowhere. Stock being shorted over 20% after hours. Yeah, we were closing all right. We were close all right. Yeah, it just keeps to seem like louder. Like the noise just always gets louder. And whenever it gets louder, I'm like, okay, why is there noise here? What is it to make people look away from? Why is it to like how is it to shift people's mindsets? I try and always just like dissect the situation. Oh, okay, good, good. Let's see. It's a good post. When they tell you to buy options, don't. They're saying buy options. Bozos. Fidelity is now showing 32.33 short percentage, up nearly 10% from previous reported data. Makes sense. I love Lightning too. Yeah, no, Lightning's a homie. He's funny. I like how he's just like unapologetically himself. He's like, listen, like I'm doing gaming. I'm gonna talk about some GameStop here, and like he's just kind of himself. He doesn't talk about GameStop anymore, but like, hey, he's doing his thing, right? I think that's what it's all about. I sub to you, Night Tetron. I've seen you on other channels in chat. Only saw you live in recommendations tonight for the first time. Tony, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Really, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just out here doing what I can when I can. I definitely fall off my horse sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll always get back on my horse. I'll promise you that, and just keep driving forwards, keep riding forwards, and just keep learning. Like what I've been trying to say on this channel for a while now is this is the documentation of an individual investor who used to trade a bunch of different things and always try and catch the next big play, realizing there's an investment opportunity in GameStop, explaining my thought process. And if you go back and watch my old videos, I talked MOAS more and a lot of supply and demand of shares and just more like current events. But I also kind of started it off just talking about like the current pulse of like not super stock, but just what people are talking about that were invested in GameStop, thoughts on their mind. Like nobody's actually covering this. This was my thought process, and I didn't see other YouTubers really. And I think found Marantz after I started my channel. Or I kind of found him right before. I don't remember exactly, but I was like, no one's even really putting this on YouTube. I saw like Andrew Mo Money just doing live streams. I'm like, this guy's just taking donations and just staring at a screen and pumping AMC. That's what I realized eventually, like bozo, grifter. But I was like, well, no one's really covering it, so I'll just kind of be covering the pulse of it, and I'll just describe it. I'm like, and I always said in those beginning videos, like, I'm not a financial advisor. Like, I'm just saying what I see going on because I didn't want people to see my videos and like take it as a hype thing. Like, I didn't want to ever be a grifter, And then over time, realizing what shareholder value is and just how it's really just about the company, and I'm definitely not the only one realizing this. So while I'm kind of growing with a lot of other individuals, I'm documenting what's a lot of people are going through. It's mostly I'm documenting my own journey, but at the same time, like I think I'm just an example of a GameStop investor that started off as like an okay person who had a general idea of finance and investing to somebody that's really starting to understand the little bits of information and understand that if there's a part of the cash flow statement I don't understand, I better go learn that. I better not just be like, oh, well, I just don't know that. That's like the next thing I got to do. Like, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel like I see where I want to go, and like I really want to just keep covering GameStop. That's the main point of this channel, and I'll talk about some other things over time. I don't really want to get into other individual stocks right now, just because that's not where I'm at. But like I'll say, I'm definitely a huge advocate of, and again, I don't give financial advice, so take what I say with a grain of salt, or completely ignore me. Right? S&P 500. You should just always add money into the S&P 500. You're always just investing in the stock market as a whole, the top 500 companies in America. Historically, S&P 500 has always outperformed almost any other index you compare it to. It's Warren Buffett's golden rule, and it's just the most simple way to invest and pay the most little fees in terms of expense ratios with an ETF or mutual fund. So I just take S&P 500, always essential. And as a young individual, I have my 401k set up, straight S&P 500. Only S&P 500 in my 401k, and that's just where I'm at as a person. Um, Art Newton deserves some respect. Yeah, for sure, Ryan Sung, for sure. Honestly, I would love to have a conversation with him at some point. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, just for the heck of it, right? And I always thought, maybe one day, but it'd be like intimidating to do this. I'll be straight up with you. If it was a conversation of me, Marantz, Richard, and Lightning, that'd be like epic. I feel like I do a lot of listening in that conflict. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I can be there. Like, I feel like I'm capable. But three, or especially like Morantz and Richard Newton, very, very intelligent. And I'm not saying Lightning's not intelligent or something, but I'm saying I would feel intimidated in that group of three. I don't know, but I think it'd be a super cool idea. Or even I would love to collab with each of them individually. Like at some point, I probably should reach out to them. But also, whole thing is I'm growing myself as an individual and doing content with someone else to hold their thing. So I've only done it like limitedly with like Nathan from Florida, my other buddy John. He was on here one time. We had a little bit of an interview, talking about Web3 and gaming. So yeah, I don't know, kind of see what's going on down the line. But really, the main thing I'm focused on in terms of like a collab, is actually not with a collab with a YouTuber. I want to have my grandfather on to talk about his experience working on Wall Street. I think he was there, the Black Monday, all that, like asking about stuff like that. So yeah, just to ask him about some of his experiences. I think that'd be pretty cool. Always got the vibe from you elsewhere that you do your shit. Glad I found your channel. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. I don't know it all. I'll definitely say that, but I like to think I know enough to at least speak about it, right? That's why I'm here. So, wild events today. Would not be surprised if there's way more to today's events than we currently know. Scott Pollen, I think that's a great point. Yeah, it seems like there's still so much more to be uncovered. There's so much on confusion. It's like Matt Furlong's out. Like this news is so fresh. What is it ultimately going to mean? Uh, yeah, I don't know. You're right. There is so much more to come from this. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's read this real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. On June 5th, the board of directors of the company terminated Matthew Furlong as president and chief executive officer of the company, effective immediately, such that after giving such effect of such termination, Mr. Furlong was no longer employed by GameStop Texas Ltd. Limited, the company, or any of their affiliates, subject to Mr. Furlong's timely execution of a separation and release agreement and non-revocation in the time provided to do so, which includes a release of claims against the companies and its affiliates. Mr. Furlong will be entitled to receive the payments and benefits associated with the termination without cause, as such term is defined in Mr. Furlong's offer letter dated June 9th, 2021, from GameStop Texas Limited, which was originally filed Exhibit 10.1, attached to the company's current report on Form 8K, filed with Securities and Exchange Commission on June 9th, 2021. Board of Director changes. Effective immediately, Mr. Furlong's resignation did not result in any disagreement with the company or on any matter relating to the company's operations, policies, or practices. In connection with Mr. Furlong's resignation, the board reduced the size of the board to 5. Additionally, As further disclosed in item 8.01 of this current report on Form 8K, the board appointed Ryan Cohen as executive chairman of the company and Elaine Adel as the lead independent director of the board. Very interesting. On June 7, 2023, the board appointed Mark H. Robinson as the company's general manager, effective immediately. Additionally, Mr. Robinson was appointed as the company's principal executive officer, PEO. Interesting. Mr. Robinson's responsibility will include administrative matters, corporate development, legal affairs, and support for GameStop's holdings, including oversight of other executive officers besides the executive chairman. He will report directly to Ryan Cohen as executive chairman. Mr. Robinson will continue to serve in his roles as general counsel and secretary of the company. Mr. Robinson, 44 years old, has served as the vice president general counsel of the company since January 2022 and in various other roles at the company since August 2015. In his current role, he oversees the legal and human resources functions for the company. Prior to joining the company in 2015, Mr. Robinson held positions as an attorney at law firms Norton Rose Fulbright and Jones Day, where he provided counsel on corporate and financial transactions. Okay, so he's been with the company a long time. So I like that. Ryan Cohen found somebody from within, basically, and was like, I want you to work at the top here. Because think about it. If he became VP General Counsel of the company since January 2022, Ryan Cohen's been involved with things since like late 2020. Up until that point, he's seeing how people work. So my guess is he saw this guy, Mark H. Robinson, and was like, okay, I like how you work. You're going to move up in this company. And the guy's been there since 2015, and he probably saw, new management come in, everything kind of turning around. So he saw an opportunity to work even harder, maybe, or I don't know, just something maybe clicked there. Or I think Ryan Cohen saw a good work ethic in him. That's my theory here, and why now he's even getting another role as general manager effective immediately because Ryan Cohen trusts the guy and sees the work ethic this individual has. That's my idea here. And the idea that there's no disagreements is very interesting. I mean, that's a very important piece of information. Mr. Furlong resigned as director of the company effective immediately. Mr. Furlong's resignation did not result from any disagreement with the company on any matter relating to the company's operations, policies, or practices. In connection with Mr. Furlong's resignation, the board reduced the size of the board to 5. Additionally, as further disclosed in item 8.01 to the current report of the Form 8K, the board appointed Ryan Cohen as executive chairman of the company and Elaine Adel as lead independent director of the board. Okay, so yeah. Let's see anything else here that I missed. The company terminated Matt Furlong as president and chief executive officer of the company, effective immediately, such that after giving such effect to such termination, Matt Furlong is no longer employed. Okay, yeah, so it's a little confusing because it says there's no disagreements, but at the same time, it's like he was terminated. But then it says here, well, he resigned as director of the company. So, because he was director of the company, president, and CEO, so he resigned as director of the company, but terminated, not fired, but terminated as president, chief executive officer. But yeah, I think we'll still find out. It still seems like Teddy, like I don't know, it just still seems like odd the whole thing, and just so out of nowhere. It seems like it really could be Teddy. It really does, in my opinion. But I don't think this is enough of a piece of information to go out on a limb and say, oh yeah, it's Teddy, or oh yeah, he's still doing something with GameStop for sure. It's certainly possible he's not. It's certainly possible you turned down Ryan Cohen. Something happened from within that Ryan Cohen didn't like, whatever it may be. And then he was done. And then he was not there for long, right? But who knows? We'll find out. I don't know. All the events today, would I be surprised? Yep. Hello, can someone please explain if this GME has something to be concerned about? Powerhouse? I think not. I think it's overall just the same old song and dance where it's going to be up, down, left, right. Stock price is always going to move around, and you just got to focus on the long term. I think there's the excitement. If you want to just look at it on a very simple scale, there's the excitement of a lot of individuals that the company is going to be profitable again, keep building on momentum, free cash flow positive again, keep net income positive. And ultimately it wasn't, right? And that's unfortunate. And I think just that disappointment and also letting the price run going in I don't think it's like a ton of people selling. I mean, I don't think it's any long-term sellers, honestly. I think the only people selling are genuinely just traders. So prompting this dramatic of a move, I don't think so. Unless it's a situation where it's like Matt Furlong's just dumping all his shares and he's super pissed at Ryan Cohen. He just did it on the spot right after earnings. But I don't know about that. I wouldn't be concerned. It's crazy price action. Not even that crazy in the grand scheme of things. The prices really matter if you're a long-term investor. GME. Straight facts. So, Tony, straight facts. Damn, buddy, almost 3 hours. You're killing it. For real, Ryan, for real. I'm just keeping it going until I can't anymore, honestly. Hello, friends. Mr. Dashmark, thank you for being here. Fresh Maker, what up? Thank you for being here. Big homie. Kai Under the Sea, thank you for being here. Yours, what up? Hey, I'm just tuning in right now. What did I miss? For all Mac. Oh man, you missed 3 hours, bro. So much to catch up on. But talk about the CNBC documentary, talk about the earnings, talk about all the craziness and all just the uncertainty and just, I would say as a whole, don't let your emotions, like emotions were running high right after the earnings, and I feel like now everything's maybe cooled off a little bit. Just keep your focus and keep your head and know where you're at. And if you're a long-term investor, like it's just another like speck in the giant picture, right? So brick by brick, report by report, day by day, just keeps going, right? Let's see. I have several call options, don't expire for a while, and hope they can still make money on them. I think you could, Powerhouse. I think you absolutely could. But again, you got to know yourself as an individual. If you're comfortable with calls, then I wish you all the best. And I think there's definitely money to be made. But at the same time, you have to understand, calls, there's theta, there's gamma, there's delta, there's various things you got to take into account. So who knows? Because I feel like price action short term is completely unpredictable, and the next couple earnings reports are still, going to be on teetering on the edge of profitability. It seems like, although I think they'll be again leaning profitable, and the cost cutting is going to still kind of continue to finalize because you have to keep in mind, cost cutting was finalizing through 2022. So if it's finalizing through 2022, you're only really going to start to see the difference in 2023. So I think the next couple quarters are going to be positive, but options have a time limit on them. So you got to take that all into account. But there's also the possibility of selling puts. You got to think of that too. And I just realized I didn't answer Fresh Maker's question. What should Teddy do? I think they should, or what should they do? I mean, based on their trademarks, it seems like they're going to get more into kids items. And thinking about that Milan, Italy store specifically said that one area was more for kids games and like board games and things like that, and it sounded like collectibles, but it also kind of sounds like maybe some stuff Teddy's getting into. Maybe Teddy's going to be a brand under GameStop that's going to be kids stuff such as kids books and things of that nature, because babies are like, I remember when the whole idea of like acquiring Bye Bye Baby off of Bed Bath & Beyond and Ryan Cohen originally bought in, because the idea that people that shop for their baby are very loyal, or they always need stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't think that was the best perspective. I think it's more like kids and them having selection and wanting to go there. And it would be a cool aspect of multi-level GameStop stores to have like the Teddy department, right? Kind of thing. Hey, I'm soon or make 1 million in yearly sales. I don't get the Teddy thing. Yeah, no. So I think it's going to be about the brand name, Fresh Maker, but I also think like they'll have to come out with more products, and I think maybe there's also digital connection with GameStop Player, NFT Marketplace, something along those lines. But I think definitely it would be for the brand name, and it also would have to be that Teddy has something else going for it that we don't know about other than children's books. Otherwise, I agree. It wouldn't just be like, well, why would you just acquire it for children's books and the name? Unless, then they acquire it for 1 million. That's like nothing for GameStop. So then I feel like that kind of makes sense. Was there an earnings report? Oh, yes, sir, Powerhouse. You got to check it out, man. Yes, sir. 10Q came out. 10Q came out. Let's see. Yep. So EPS was negative 17 cents below expectations, whereas the expectation was 12 cents. Tetran expectation was positive 1 cent. So was net negative. And free cash flow also net negative of 100 million. But again, they still have 1.3 billion on the balance sheet, so they're still in decent shape. They lost 50 million from operations relative to 157 million from the same quarter last year. So they made less money on the top line, but they still managed to swing $100 million on the bottom line, or 107 million, which is still pretty strong. So I think there really is a lot of positives to take away from this report, but there's these expectations going in. So of course there's gonna be negatives, right? And of course it makes sense for like the stock price to react negatively. And of course it's okay to be a little bit disappointed, like damn, I wanted more. But if you're in it for the long term, then you just have to look at this. Okay, well, if you zoom out, this is a fairly significant step in the right direction and looks much better than the same quarter last year's earnings report. Let's see. You're the best, Tetron. No, I appreciate you, Pharrell. Thank you. Fellow Brave user, Kai. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the way. Damn, I'll watch it all later. If you can, awesome. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, but today Teddy has like 4 books. I don't think it will help us. Okay, we'll see. Hope there's more news at the shareholder meeting. I think so too, Freshman Maker. I think you're right. Like I see what you're saying. Like if it's just the books, it's like what's that going to do? I think there has to be more attached. But keep in mind, like Teddy could be signing deals to be producing products of some kind that we have no idea about, just because it's its own private company that nothing's filed for, right? Nothing's publicly made available, as far as I'm aware, in regards to like if they were doing something else, like why would they have to make it public? But if then GameStop acquires it, it's like, oh well, they've actually been preparing to sell these products under the brand name of Teddy, so stuff like that. But yeah, I think we'll see, and I do want to hear more at the shareholder meeting, and it'd be super cool to hear Ryan Cohen speak. It really would. But knowing how he is, I think if he speaks, it's going to be like for 2 minutes, and then CNBC and all the media outlets are going to try and analyze every word he says, clip it to make it look like he said something he didn't say, and just smear him some more, right? So part of me thinks the shareholder meeting he won't even speak. But then will we hear from another member of the board? Will we hear from the newly appointed general manager? I don't know, but we're gonna have to hear from someone, right? So we'll see. But what a time to be alive! What a time to be in GME. Um, yeah, no, really. Thank you guys all for being here. Yeah, it's at 3 hours. Man, I should just keep going infinitely, make it a 24-hour stream. Nah, that'd be crazy. Um, but do they have the store counts? Let's see. No, I don't think there's store counts in this report. I think that's only on the 10Ks. Okay, so percentage of sales. This is really good when you're comparing. Oh yeah, here's the comparison. So cost of sales was lower in terms of percentage. Cost of sales for the same quarter last year was 78.3% of top line revenue. This time it was only 76.2. The huge swing was on selling and general administrative. It was about a 5% swing there from 32.8 million. Or sorry, 32.8% of the total net sales was attributable to selling and general administrative costs, whereas this time only 27.9% was of net sales. But keep in mind, lower net sales makes that number, well, no, lower the percentage is the better number to look at because it shows like percentage of the top line. Whereas if you look, this is $100 million. That is a massive swing, absolutely. But if you look at percentage, I think that tells a greater story and will kind of show you as they scale. Then also, if they can keep the general selling administrative costs around this level, if top line revenue starts to rise again, it's going to be a lower percentage of net sales. Then really the big thing I want to see is collectibles make a comeback. They were only 14% of sales this time. They were 16% last time. So that's definitely something I want to see make a comeback. Oh, get it to be sleep time. Yep, the ultimate cash flows, operating, lost 102.7 million. Then investing, net, down about 6.7, but that's very tiny. Financing, 6.8. Or sorry, 2.8, basically nothing. Exchange rate on effective cash equivalents, and restricted cash, -4. So overall, the decrease in cash equivalents and restricted cash was negative 116.2 million. But in comparison to the same quarter last year, they were down 236.3 million. So pretty significant change there on the very bottom line. But then if you look at operationally, you have a $200 million swing. And again, keep in mind, this is on a little bit of less revenue. So imagine if revenue even came in even. I remember who was it before said Tony had said before, if GameStop, I think it was, or I don't know, it's coming a long stream at this point. I'm getting confused, mixed up. If GameStop came in with the same revenue, do you think it could have been profitable? I was saying, yeah, it probably would have been just negative, but it would have maybe been right there. It would have been real, real close. But again, it would have depended how much the cost of sales would have scaled up with the difference it would have been needed to make revenue. So definitely, the top line revenue, I'd say as a whole was disappointing. And of course, stock share count still relatively the same. Of course, we're not issuing stock or anything like that, or it is the same rather. But yeah, top line revenues the most disappointing. DRS a little bit disappointing, but overall, looking at the specific numbers and comparing just operations to Q1 of 2022 versus Q1 of 2023, I think they're still moving in the right direction. I think things still look good as a whole. Again, it's not. I'm not saying it's great. Oh wow, amazing earnings report. This is exactly what I wanted. No, but I'm okay with a little disappointment. And I think when you look at the big picture, everything's still a-okay. And it's just now like, what's really going on with Matt Furlong? What really happened? That's the new mystery. And when does GameStop Player launch? What is with these trademark filings with Teddy? Right, I got to look into more of those. So this party's just getting started, right? I would say keep going, but I think it's still even just getting started. Honestly, it's so far from over. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Damn, already 9 p.m. What did I start like 5:40? That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I love it though. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope everyone has a good night. Of course, none is financial advice. Do what you want at the end of the day as an individual. That's really what I think it's all about. Everyone's got to know thyself and invest for thyself, right? So just make your own decisions. Do your own research. Really try to think before you ever just click a button, right? So yeah, that's the best what I can say. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope